Welcome one, welcome all to Pit Road Productions one last time for the Podium 1 Fixed Series Championships. We are at a wet and potentially drying Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the 10th round of the championship. And we once again have our two different races over 4 different classes ready to go here at one of the most historic racetracks in North America, let alone the world. Bringing it to you live here on the Pit Road Productions YouTube channel. It is myself, Reese Gardner, with Daniel Zippy Salmon alongside me in the commentary box. Zippy, we had good times at Indianapolis last season when the GT3 Fixed Series Championship came here. Now we get TCR and GT4 as well to see how they handle the wetness here in Indianapolis.
Yeah, gotta admit, I'm actually quite glad that we've got some changing weather conditions here, especially as it is indeed the season finale. Ladies and gentlemen, what a season it's been. Certainly there's been some highs, there's been some lows, there's definitely been some phenomenal racing as well. We're definitely a huge pleasure having these guys on board as well. And certainly, let's give credit where due as well. Not just to the drivers, but the guys who've been behind the scenes organising it. Certainly, CJ Conklin has been a very, very busy man keeping the work into the series. Darwin Hansen as well. And then not only that, Doug Sorrentino stepping up about mid-season way to take on some of the race control as well. A huge shout out to those guys for obviously making that happen behind the scenes. Honestly, the league would not exist without these people.
No, certainly not, and it's fantastic to see another season come to a conclusion. We do have quite a bit to work out in terms of the championship standings, in terms of where everyone's going to sit coming into this final round, particularly in the GT3 category. It looks like the title fight might be on.
Indeed, it might, but before we get too excited, let's see indeed where we've been, and I guess where we're going to end it here for the Podium 1 Fixed Series Championship.
Yep, we started off at Sebring in January, went to Detroit Belle Isle for round 2, over to Europe to Misano and Imola, and then Long Beach played host to round 5. We hopped across the pond quite a few times this season, so it was good to see that we stayed in America for Daytona and Road Atlanta in the mid-season. Went down to Australia. Adelaide played host to round 8. Miami was the previous round last week, and of course, we are here at Indianapolis for the final round of the season. A very typical schedule for a league of this nature, and I'm looking forward to seeing how the final round concludes.
Absolutely, myself as well, and certainly definitely a little bit on the lower attendance side here for the first race of the evening. The GTRs, the GT4s indeed, and the TCRs. Couldn't decide between the two classes, so made my own, ladies and gentlemen. But certainly, I'm absolutely loving the drying track conditions. But before we get into it too much, indeed, the race, it's just going for 10 today, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, the points race here, starting with the GT4s.
Absolutely. In the GT4 class, Doug Sorrentino has led the way for much of the time. Amrit Vestrala is maintaining second place, but the gap is really narrow. Maxwell Budd only a single point behind. Pierce Fox has a little bit to play with there. He's quite close to Vestrala and Budd as well. It's definitely on for second. And we also have to wait to see if Tommy Polte can hold off Joshua Travis for the last spot in the top 5. We've had some pretty varied competition over GT4 this season. In TCR, it is another big championship points getaway from Javi Sierra. But Michael Pacheco and Andrew Garov don't seem to be putting too much pressure on him or each other. It is close between Drew Martin and Scott Laurenti for 4th place, so we'll have to wait and see how that one works out. On a drying track, TCR in particular could be difficult. They're cars that definitely love to make the rear end swing out on corner entry, which you don't really want on a wet track.
Indeed, and right now, taking a look at it, it appears that the TCRs are actually faster at this circuit. Certainly, we've seen a bit of a variety here. Yeah, I know. I'm looking at the qualifying times right now. Michael Pacheco is the outright fastest with 137.53. And literally, we've got 4 TCRs at the top of the field. I guess the GTRs just haven't got it. Pierce Fox, Doug Sorrentino, both in the 138s and even the 139s there from Sorrentino. I have to wonder, just how is this race going to go down? Certainly, one of the big challenges of this series has been how evenly balanced these cars are. On the straightaway, the GT4 just absolutely runs away with it, but in the corners, you'd think surely the GT4 would be faster, but no, the TCRs, despite being front-engined, front-wheel drive, have just had so much more cornering speed.
Well, that's really interesting to see, because Indianapolis is mostly straights, is it not? And so I would think that the GT4s would be ahead. This is quite an interesting turn of events. Potentially the wet weather bringing out some of that as well, as it would appear that is Sorrentino that's gone deep and into the grass. You can see how much spray is being thrown up by the GT4s in particular. It's a really wet track out there at the moment, so yeah, I think that definitely plays a part. If we're getting a drying racetrack over the course of the 30 minutes, we might see a potential crossover point where the GT4s become faster than the TCRs when the track reaches a certain level of dryness. The question is, when is that point, and are we going to have time to reach it with it only being a 30-minute race?
Indeed, is my apprentice there making me giggle here. But let's do an onboard lap here with Pierce Fox.
Yes, on board through Sector 1, coming through the chicane, which is flat out in the dry. You see how the puddles along the back stretch are really narrowing the line that you can take into this section. The curbs are your guides here through this chicane, and you find your way through a couple of very nice sweepers. Just nice wide curbs, which you can use all of in the dry, but you've got to be so careful in the wet. You see how shiny and slick they are. They are going to turn you around if you hit them, those curbs. And coming back onto the oval briefly, look at how narrow the line is there at the apex. You have to drive straight through a puddle. No wonder these guys are having to tiptoe around. There's a lot of really interesting standing water around the lap here as he comes into the final chicane. Late apex is necessary for the best run back onto the start-finish stretch, but yeah, it's all basically rally driving. If you're like, imagine you're a tarmac rally driver, and you have to navigate a super narrow mountain road. That's basically what they have to do here.
Yeah, it's definitely challenging to myself. I personally like racing in the rain, and certainly we're going to give him a shout out again. Reese, I'm sure you know exactly who I'm thinking of when it comes to racing in the rain. Certainly Kevin Adrian would be the guy who I'd definitely put money on, especially in the Formula 1600. We're actually going to see him racing on Wednesday as well. I got confirmation this evening. But what I can tell you, though, is Pete Geggi has just gone purple in Sector 3. Is it going to be enough? He's currently got 137.41. Are we going to see an improvement here from the TCR driver?
Yeah, that is the question. We'll have to wait and see what we can do, what Pete can do, actually, to find his way a little further forward. It's looking good for him in the second last sector, and he's picking up the slipstream off this GT4 across the yard of bricks at the start-finish line. That is going to be an improvement for Pete Geggi.
Oh, yes.
Let's see where he ends up. It's going to be P1.
Attaboy, Pete. I've got to say, what an absolutely blinding time. The draft really coming in very beneficial there. But before we get too carried away, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look here. A message from our sponsors, Stein with Carbliss.
Yes, not much time left in qualifying. Let's see what we can do to thank our returning sponsor, Carbliss, who offers a line of premium canned cocktails designed for drinkers who refuse to compromise on flavor or fitness goals. These ready-to-drink options featuring vodka, rum, and tequila bases for classic drinks like margaritas and mojitos are built on a simple promise: bold flavor with zero compromises. Every 12-ounce can is zero sugar, zero carbs, gluten-free, and just 100 calories.
Indeed, as we head over to our next sponsor, ladies and gentlemen, it's Nixon Power. Indeed, what a fantastic sponsor. Certainly one more after my own heart, as they are, well, it's more of an electrical deal, ladies and gentlemen, but they are headquartered in Brentwood, Tennessee, and focuses exclusively on the power generation marketplace. They provide industrial, residential, and marine generators, complemented by an aftermarket team that delivers premium technical services and parts support. Certainly, if you live in Nova Scotia, you have very little expectations for the power company because they would fail to meet them. So certainly, if you do need a bit of backup juice, give Nixon Power a call.
Moser Racing is a fast-growing brand making high-performance sim racing hardware for PC and console, VR, and flight simulation. Known for affordable, powerful direct-drive wheelbases, modular wheels, and pedals, Moser offers a full automotive engineered ecosystem from beginner bundles to high-end setups, including durable, realistic equipment like steering wheels, digital dashes, and flight simulation gear.
Indeed, gotta love the Moser Racing gear. Their next sponsor, ladies and gentlemen, Speed Design. Speak of Darwin Hanson himself, he is the man. Especially when he comes getting a helmet done. He provides custom helmet painting, providing unique, modern, and high-speed designs to drivers across the globe, including those in Formula 1, IMSA, Pro Karting, NASCAR, and dirt track racing. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you've watched here on Pit Road Productions, Almeida Academy. Well, Swallow Almeida, he designed his helmet as well.
And finally, of course, Podium 1 Racing is a Nashville, Tennessee-based builder of turnkey racing and flight simulator systems. They offer premium, ready-to-use rigs that integrate high-end components such as Fanatec, Azactec, and Cubic Motion systems to meet the needs of serious racers and professional training environments. It is CJ Conklin, who's an employee of Podium 1, and runs this series, and it's always been fantastic to have them on board here at Pit Road Productions, and I hope that we can cap the championship off here for this season on a high, especially here in the TCR and GT4 categories, where it looks like we have our championship leader Javi Sierra not starting on the front row for I think the first time this season.
Indeed, certainly, it's definitely been a bit of a shocker here, and I've got to be honest, it's quite the variety looking at the mix here of the field. Certainly, some of the TCRs are able to go quicker than the GT4s, but certainly, I'm looking forward to seeing how that's going to emerge, indeed, as the race unfolds.
Absolutely. Well, the grid is as follows. We have Pete Geggi on top in the TCR Honda with Michael Pacheco alongside, second place in the championship. Javi Sierra is going to start in third alongside Andrew Garov, with Scott Laurenti, Quinn Manders, and CJ Conklin rounding out our TCR field. CJ not setting a lap time as things stand. In the GT4 class, Piers Fox and Doug Sorrentino are your front row, with Amrit Vestrala managing third place. Maxwell Budd fighting with Vestrala for second in the championship is in fourth. Then we have Joshua Travis and Sean Phillips on the third row. Chris Schuessler and Jack Minter are your fourth row there. We'll have to wait and see who's going to get the best start here. Rolling start behind the pace car, and the track is looking a little bit drier as time goes on, but it's still not dry enough for slick tires, I don't think. I mean, it looks like a lot of the drivers are taking the chance, though. I see the majority of our TCRs on slicks, but I see Javi Sierra has decided to go for wets. Well, we'll have to wait and see who's right in the end.
Yeah, that's definitely interesting to see. Let's see if I can actually... yeah, I think I can do this. Ladies and gentlemen, take a quick peek at this. Just so you guys can see who's on what kind of tires. There you go.
So Javi Sierra and Quinn Manders on wets, as is CJ Conklin. In the GT4 class, Sean Phillips, Chris Schuessler, and Joshua Travis have decided to go for wet tires. Now,
Travis is in the pits.
Oh. So I think he may have decided that he's on the wrong tire. We'll have to wait and see on that. The wetness of the track as rated by the sim is lightly wet, so we may be near the crossover point for slicks. There is going to be some variance, though. This is going to make this final round very intriguing.
Honestly, I think I would be going full on for the dries at this point. It's a drying track. Certainly myself, I would take the risk, just try and bring it in slowly, because the race is realistically not long enough to justify a pit stop.
If you're a GT4 anyway, the TCRs usually come in for a stop over the 30 minutes. So if Javi Sierra's realized that he's on the wrong tire, then he probably won't lose out too much. Just has to suffer for a couple of laps before he gets the fuel margin to make it to the end. And he'll switch the tires from there. But it's a bit of a confusing part of the weather here, when you find that there's some standing water around the circuit, and you know, it is still a bit hazardous to be on slick tires, because look, there is still spray being thrown up, there is still standing water in places. You hit those puddles wrong and you're on slick tires, you are losing it.
Yeah, certainly I do remember me and you trying to do a, I can't think what they called the race, but it was VIR. It was
Production Car
race. Challenge. Yeah, in the clear. Oh dear! Oh,
there you go.
Oh,
there you go.
My word. Chaos.
What was I just talking about? Pete Geggi catching the curb there. He got on the brakes across the curb, which is still very wet, and went straight in to Michael Pacheco, I believe. And
That's Pacheco there.
We have had... yes, Pacheco's making up the time again to get back to the front of the field, and it looks like Gigi will as well, so a little bit of chaos here in our TCR class. The track is still not absolutely safe, but we're about to get to this race start and figure out how it goes at racing speed, Zippy.
I got a feeling this could get really interesting, Reese. Oh dear!
Yeah, Gigi's off the track again.
Wet tires might be the strategy here.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I thought this was going to be interesting. Yeah, they're absolutely aquaplaning through that puddle there. We're going to be seeing a few cars in the pits at the end of this lap either way as the green flag flies for the TCR class, taking the green flag first for the second time this season. And Pacheco has the run on Gigi, but he's not going to be able to get up the inside here at the first corner. Gigi defending on his way in. Careful over the white lines and curbs in the wet, because you will slide off if you hit them the wrong way. The GT4s are get going as Sorrentino gets up the inside of Pierce Fox, but Pierce is going to hold on his way around. Slick tires at the front of this field. Sean Phillips is on the wets, and look at the pace that he has.
He's absolutely devouring these guys. Fair play to Phillips there. He's not had the best of luck this season, but right now it's fair to say he does indeed have a tire advantage, and he is using it.
Oh, he's using a bit too much of the curb at the chicane, though. He's going to get a slowdown from that as Jack Mint has had a spin. Yep. If you're on wet tires, that was the way to go, ultimately. Javi Sierra has made his way to the front of the TCR class as both Gigi and Pacheco have had issues of some kind. And Pierce Fox has had problems as well. Dearie me, he was on course for fighting for third in the championship, but that is heavy contact coming out of the chicane. Once again, starting on the slicks and hitting that standing water. There was nothing he could do.
Yeah, he's managed to pick up a meatball flag for his troubles indeed. That car is very much suffering on the left front corner. I'd say the control arm is likely taking some serious damage, and the right front wheel pretty much ready to detach at this point. Oh dear.
So, the problem is, for the drivers that started on slick tires, it's not advisable to pit and go to wets, because the track is going to keep getting drier. It's not going to rain. So switching back to the wets is just going to be a waste of time, really. If you've started on the slicks, you might as well commit and just hope that the track dries out to the point where you can actually use those tires properly. Otherwise, there's going to be a huge advantage to the drivers who started on the wet tires, and Sean Phillips in particular in GT4 has managed to get out to a lead of about 5 seconds as Amrit Vestrala is battling now with Chris Scheusler, another driver who started on the wets. We haven't seen Scheusler fighting for a podium position all season, but this might be where it happens for him.
Yeah, I gotta say, out of point, and that man is working as Amrit Vestrala has gone around. That's Maxwell Budd just ahead, and indeed, this man is definitely working hard. Fair play. That Porsche is going to be lively in these conditions. You can see there a couple of small little corrections there from Scheusler as he's done it. Ladies and gentlemen, he's cleared Maxwell Budd. Chris Scheusler, for the first time, is on the podium, and he is in second place. Joint hard charger here with Sean Phillips.
The other side of that coin, though, is over this 30-minute race in the GT4 class, they are not expected to have to pit for fuel. So we'll have to wait and see what Phillips and Scheusler can do to keep the pace up in those wet tires, whether or not the track dries out quickly. They may face the point where the wet tires are a disadvantage late on in the race. We'll have to wait and see if that happens. But CJ Conklin has also grabbed the wet tires, and looks like he's going to make the move on Michael Pacheco pretty soon. More rolling resistance on the wet tires, so they are a bit slower down the straights than slick tires, but once they get to the corners, you'll see CJ make tracks.
Indeed, CJ is going to have a pretty solid move there. I've got to say, the Audi looking pretty good. But another quick shout out as well. CJ Conklin rocking Liquid Molly, as is Pete Jetty. I'm actually loving it. They look like their teammates, albeit different manufacturers. Really tastefully done here. As CJ now, he's on the attack. He's got Pacheco on the outside, and I think he's going to get it done there. Gets it done on the inside as they make their way around the right-hander.
Yep, easy as you like. There's just so much pace advantage with the track conditions here. and hitting that curb there on the power is not too bad of a problem. It is front-wheel drive. All you're going to do is understeer, but Pacheco certainly found it out the hard way on the exit curb of that section. So we're seeing a lot of drivers now who, look, that's a little deep there for CJ, but he keeps it going. We're seeing quite a few drivers in this field now who have made the right choice of tyre. Wow, the FOV on that was huge.
Something was wrong there.
And they're taking great advantage. You know, like, we haven't seen them up the front before, is what I'm trying to say. Phillips, Scheusler, and then, you know, Quinn Manders, CJ Conklin, Andrew Garov as well, starting on the wet tyres, apparently. It's going to be interesting to see who comes away with the victory here, because it's looking like, at least in the GT4 class, it's under proper contention. Javi Sierra, meanwhile, made absolutely the right tyre choice in TCR, and he leads by nearly 9 seconds with only, what, 3 laps completed?
Yeah, I got a feeling he's going to have a very, very dominant day today. Certainly, the thing is, though, it is not over yet. And Andrew Gale, sadly, has indeed started on the dry tyres. He's getting passed here by Sean Phillips now, who makes his way through in the GT4 class.
Yeah, first time GT4 has passed a TCR in this race, as the battling continues between Michael Pacheco and Pete Geggi, 2 dry tyre runners. And who's going to get the best run through the chicane here? Did you see that? When Pacheco hit the flat curb there, the car just went straight. That's going to happen quite a bit for the slick tyre runners. But who's going to win the battle of the late breakers coming into the chicane here? It's sketchy stuff on dry tyres in these TCRs, but Pacheco just sneaks through.
Yeah, fair play. Pacheco is going to have to do some really defensive driving here. There's a little bit of a slide there from the Audi. Indeed, this is one day where you would really want to have that Quattro system.
Yes, unfortunately, the Audi RS3 remains front-wheel drive, as front-wheel drive is regulation for TCR racing. There's no other drivetrains allowed, as that's big contact there. Pete Geggi getting into Michael Pacheco, and around he goes. CJ Conklin's going to get a huge gap from that. Pacheco will keep going, though, as Geggi lost control into the wall.
Yeah, that was definitely a little bit of an egregious move, that one. Let's take a look at the replay.
I don't think it was intentional. I don't think it was even egregious. I think it was just going through the standing water. Remember, notoriously, there is a big puddle there. We saw in qualifying as they came back onto the oval.
Oh, yeah.
See, Geggi hits it, and there's just no traction from the front. The fronts just didn't grip.
I gotta say, though, in terms of slip angle, that was pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, he did well to keep it out of the wall in the end. But I think Pacheco will understand that Geggi just hit the puddle and then couldn't steer the car anymore. Meanwhile, Jack Minter, who was doing well enough on the slick tires, has found the wall very heavily, and it looks like that might be just about race over for him. He has towed back to the pits, but remains to be seen whether or not he'll make his way back out. Meanwhile, we see our GT4s battling once again on the dries, I believe. Joshua Travis, potentially, yes. Doug Sorrentino and Maxwell Budd on the dries as well. But Joshua Travis is really enjoying these conditions, apparently. That BMW is handling this beautifully.
I gotta admit, it sounds pretty good as well. And, I love that. Got a little bit of a floodlight going on, a little bit of rain light kicking off on the back of the BMW. But indeed, it's quite interesting to see Doug Sorrentino and Maxwell Budd further back in the grid here today. Indeed, it's not stopping him, though. Maxwell Budd applying all sorts of pressure. And not only that, he's ahead of Amrit Bistrala by about 42 seconds. So, realistically, he just needs to bring it home where he's at, and he will get the better of Bistrala.
And in terms of the GT4 championship, if it were to end in this position now, I think Doug Sorrentino would.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we appear to have lost Reese Gardner once again. But right now, you can see here, Maxwell Budd gets a little bit of a slide there as he goes through standing water. Thankfully, able to regain it as he makes his way. The track is starting to dry, though. Absolutely fantastic stuff here right now, though. Let's go and check in with our race leader, Javi Sierra. He's lost a little bit of that gap, actually. He currently brought it down to about 8.9 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, 8 seconds flat. Indeed, it was about 9 seconds early. You can see Quinn Manders lurking there in the background, ladies and gentlemen. He just tries to keep it there on the track. Indeed, further back, though, CJ Conklin currently rocking third place. He's up 4 positions, as indeed is Quinn Manders. He's up 4 as well. Meanwhile, though, Sean Phillips having the best race he's had all season, as I believe Reese Gardner has just returned.
Yes, I have returned. So let's keep an eye on what's left to run here. What I was going to say is that the championship should be fine in the GT4 class for Doug Sorrentino. He is ahead of Maxwell Bud, Amrit Vestrala, and Jack Minter. And we have plenty of racing still to go, though. Javi Sierra clearly in the championship lead in the TCR class, still leading by now over 10 seconds as he made the right decision to start on the wet tyres with 20 minutes still to run. And it doesn't look like they're clearing much of that standing water off the track, Zippy.
Indeed, it's definitely still there. We are still getting a little bit of a spray here as Quinn Manders I just be driving. Indeed, he's driving currently in second place. That's Amrit Vestrala behind him, actually. Indeed, he's currently very much down on pace, and he's been lapped, I believe, by the couple of the front TCR cars.
Yeah, Amrit Vestrala has been struggling a bit for pace in these conditions. The Mustang already quite a bit of a leery car to drive in the GT4 class. It loves to kick the rear end out, and in the wet, that can be an advantage sometimes, but as you can see over the curbs here, it is not ideal behavior to have. Amrit is doing everything he can just to keep that thing going straight.
Yeah, I have a feeling he's going to have a little bit of a nervous twitch after this race. Indeed, it's right behind him. That's CJ Conklin.
Indeed. CJ's last lap time, a 1:38.791. Amrit Vestrala, 1:51.4. Whoa! Round he goes. And that's going to be CJ duly through. Yeah, looking at the lap times here, the TCRs are setting lap times about 3 seconds faster than the GT4s at the moment, and that's comparing front-running pace. That's Sierra versus Phillips. The slick tire runners in GT4, they can only manage about 146s or so. At least if you're talking about Sorrentino and company. Yeah, it's a really weird situation right now.
I gotta admit, it's definitely, oh, look at the spray there at the back of that. Indeed, the Mustang on wet tyres definitely seems to be controllable. Sean Phillips very much proving that point, but he's definitely having to exercise a bit of throttle control, as that is one of the TCRs going a little bit wide there. I believe that may have been Scott Laurenti. Nope, my apologies.
Vestrala is coming into the pit lane. That might have been him.
There's an orange TCR I've lost.
Okay. The case of the orange TCR. Might you be talking about Michael Pacheco?
Nope, he's not orange, I don't think.
Well, he's orange on my end. All right. Well, this is going to be a case for our detective hats, potentially. Vestrala coming into the pits, and it looks like he might be sick of those slick tires. Will he actually change the tires, though? I do see potentially a different compound coming onto that car. Bit hard to see from these angles. Yep, there we go. Wet tires on. So yep. Vestrala's going to commit to the rest of this race on wets and try to gain some time back. And you never know. That might make the difference in the championship battle. Doug Sorrentino's coming in as well. Looks like the GT4s have decided the track's not going to get any drier. We might as well come in and try to make up some time here on the wets. And for Sorrentino, that's particularly important, because if he were to stay out on the slicks and his championship rivals getting on the wets end up making their way past him, you know, at the very least, that's narrowing the championship gap. That's a risk that Sorrentino can't take right now.
I have to agree with the strategy. I just think it's all a little bit too late there, as we're going to see. Indeed, Sorrentino is going to take a change of tires, but the return on investment to try and recover that pit lane time, I just think it's too late. I don't think he's going to be able to catch back up to indeed make that pit stop a viable opportunity.
Well, consider this. 142s, high 141s for Sean Phillips at the front of the GT4 field. Maxwell Budd running 145s. That's 3 seconds a lap. Now, as Sorrentino comes out, he is going to be about 30 seconds behind Maxwell Budd, about 8 laps to go. Yeah, he might not make up the full amount. He's been in there for a while as well. This could be an issue for Doug Sorrentino. I don't know if he's had to wait for an unsafe pit entry or something to that effect, but this is not ideal. Quinn Manders has had trouble with his front end, having to tow back to the pits. There's been chaos somewhere.
Yeah, let's take a quick look, see what happened. One looking good looking Audi.
Oh.
One not so good looking Audi.
Okay. Yeah, it was deep. Way too deep. Far from ideal. Sorrentino has still not come out of his box. I'm glad I was talking over that. What is it with you and making strange remarks in the pits at Indianapolis, Zippy? You did something similar last time we were here.
Oh, actually, it was Podium as well, wasn't it? I remember that.
Very same series.
I meant to say a pass in the pits. It's not how it came out, but let's take a look here. Sean Phillips now has got Andrew Garrett right behind him by about 9/10 of a second. Indeed, are we impressed if we can stay with him? They're out there on the dry tyres.
Yeah, let's see then.
Oh.
As Garov decides it's time to head for the pit lane. We were expecting TCRs to come in for a stop anyway. But Sean Phillips will absolutely be beside himself. He has made the right tyre choice by far as Garov finally enters pit lane behind. It's fantastic to see Phillips here up the front because, you know, usually he's been in and around the midfield, sometimes towards the back of the field in the GT4 category in the dry. But sometimes changeable conditions give you the chance you need.
I mean, I'm looking at the track now, looking at the spray. I'd say if you were to come out on a slick now, you would maybe be all right. But certainly at the start, I would have gone for the slicks as well. Indeed, I would have took that risk and certainly, you know, a wet tyre on a dry track is definitely slower, and it definitely is the same amount of grip there, but it was just, you know, it was just too wet. And indeed, look at that, a huge rooster tail skin up on the back here. And what gets me, though, is if you look at the GT Tour field, the lower iRating drivers were like, no, we're going to play it safe, we're going to take the wets. And indeed, the higher iRating guys got absolutely schooled today. Sorry, fellas, but they stuck it to you.
Yep, sometimes you go one way or the other, and it's a 50-50 chance whether or not you've made the right choice. Meanwhile, fresh out of the pits now for Vestrala and Sorrentino, both on the wet tyres now and getting used to them. We'll see what kind of pace they can wring out of these cars. What you will notice is that the headlights are still on all the cars, and that is a sign that the track is still classed as wet by the in-sim system. The moment those headlights turn off, that's when the sim thinks the track is dry enough for slicks. Often the actual crossover point is a bit earlier than that, so it's all about feeling out the grip, feeling out the pace, figuring out what the best thing to do is. Certainly, the best thing to do is be gentle into turn 4 here and on your way out through this chicane. Emrit Vestrala is using every part of the racetrack, but Sorrentino, with a slightly tighter line, is going to get the run on the way out down the back straight. So he and Vestrala will be side by side for 6th place in GT4. Both on the wets now. Vestrala a little bit deeper into the corner. Can he make the apex? Not quite. Sorrentino's going to try and slip through.
Yeah, honestly, I think Sorrentino waited in the pits along just so he could have Vestrala to do it with, and indeed, he's making for a much more interesting race. Certainly, these two guys do make for some great entertainment duking out. Honestly, sometimes, though, I do feel that Vestrala, I think he just likes drifting that Mustang at times. Indeed, he's having an absolute hoover time here at Indianapolis.
Yeah, he's really ragging it out of the corners here, and Sorrentino's trying his best to find his way past. It's not working for the moment. Every time Sorrentino makes a really good move, frankly, to try and get past Emrit, there's some kind of response from the Mustang, and Sorrentino can't quite clear him. So we'll see what he can do through the final corner. Big slide for Vestrala. Sorrentino a little bit straighter. Is there going to be room for him to try and find his way through? Has to stick to the right-hand side down the straight here. And here's the opportunity for Sorrentino to make the move into turn 1. Just a little bit of straight line speed advantage for the Mercedes with that better exit, and he is through into the first sector. But will Vestrala be able to find his way back past? Look at him, he's trying to gear up for a better run through this section.
But yeah, it looks like one of the TCR's cars is coming as well. I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, that's Scott Laurenti.
Yes, Scott Laurenti at the moment running in 6th in the TCR class and has recently switched to the wets. So yeah, look, it looks like some drivers are actually going for just, you know, throwing up the white flag, so to speak, of surrender and saying, all right, we might as well get the wets on the car and see what kind of pace we can get towards the end.
So here we see we have a TCR and indeed a GT4 battle, and this time here, both of these drivers are on the dry tyre, and indeed Maxwell Budd here, he's not going to be used to this. Indeed, Andrew Garov is going to try and make a pass here as they make their way down the start-finish straight.
Yes, indeed. So, 5th place in TCR and 4th place in GT4. Garov moves ahead, and goodness me, it is not very often that you see a TCR clearly being able to make a pass on a GT4. I got so used to the GT4s being a few seconds at least faster than the TCRs around here. The nature of this this multi-class race is completely flipped on its head in this final round as CJ Conklin comes into the pits. Now, CJ started on the wet tires. I gotta wonder if they're thinking about the wear of those wet tires now. I would expect that the wet tires would last longer than 30 minutes, surely.
Well, I'm inclined to agree. I definitely don't think CJ is going to take tires, at least not intentionally, but certainly, I got to say, he's definitely got the most beautiful looking car on the grid. Absolutely loving that liquid Wally livery.
Yeah, very nice indeed. CJ, Pacheco, I believe Manders as well, all driving the brand new Audi RS3, which was added to iRacing in the most recent season build. Always good to see. An update to the TCR class, recently getting a tyre model update as well, which has really changed the way the cars feel. A lot of people say for the better. I'm certainly going to be getting my TCR on in the coming season. We'll have to wait and see, though, what can be done in this race for now. As CJ Conklin emerges from pit lane, maintaining 3rd in TCR, was a long way behind Pacheco, so might not have been able to gain much on the way through the end of the race, but could still lose out to Quinn Manders, who's just taken his stop.
Indeed, certainly having a quick look here, see if I can compare on the pit times. Quinn Manders had a lot longer pit time indeed as well, about an extra minute there. But despite that, he's right behind CJ Conklin, so I'm not quite sure what's happened there. But myself, you know, I'm keen to see these TCR cars get a little bit more use as well. Certainly, I mean, it's like the Clio as well. It's one of those cars that's often passed over just because it's front-wheel drive. But ladies and gentlemen, you have been missing out. But speaking of iRacing updates as well, there is one, there was a little bit of a bug in the iRacing system, so by all means go to your log file and delete it, ladies and gentlemen. You may find there's an absolutely absurd amount of logs now. I know myself, not on the sim every night, but still deleted just short of 8 gigabytes.
Oof. Alright, good call there. I'll have to wait and see how big my log file is. Regardless, we have under 8 minutes to go in this race, and we still have great potential for fighting here. Not only do Manders and Conklin have a fight against each other to contend with, they've got Chris Choisler here as well, who is 2nd place in GT4. Look at the run that the TCRs get around the outside there. It looks like Choisler's just letting them go.
Well, indeed, Choisler as well. He's showing a bit of support there. Pit Road Productions logo sneaking his way onto the car as well. I've got to say, I like it, Chris. Thanks very much.
Very nice. Thank you so much, Chris. We appreciate the support that the Podium 1 community have had for the broadcast here at Pit Road Productions, as that was a bit deep there for CJ, almost got into Quinn Manders, but looks like Quinn's going to clear him through the first sector. CJ's struggling a little bit to keep that consistent line going through the first couple of corners, and now Quinn Manders just be driving indeed, and securely in 3rd place for the moment, but could it be 2nd? Because Javi Sierra and Michael Pacheco still have yet to take their pit stop that we're expecting from the TCRs.
Yeah, I've got to be honest. My money's definitely on the 979 car for this occasion. So that's actually Chris Seusler there, who's just gone a lap, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, this man is absolutely. Oh, he's on the hood as well. Attaboy. Gotta say, Chris Joyce has definitely given us all the representation there. Indeed, he is going to be the Pit Road Productions pace car for this lap. But saying that, he's currently in P2 in class. Attaboy. This is why he needed to go fast. Pit Road Productions logo. There's something I can get behind.
Absolutely. Very well done indeed. Well, our GT4 leader, Sean Phillips, making his way up to third overall now, and with the pit stops potentially still incoming for the top two in our TCR class, it looks to me like even after Sierra and Pacheco pit, they might come out ahead of Phillips, so we'll likely be seeing a TCR car take overall victory today, much like was a threat early on at Miami last week.
Yeah, so it's definitely been a very interesting mix indeed. Certainly, I'm looking forward to seeing how the GT3 race is going to go. Indeed, especially if there's a little bit of rain involved as well. Not quite sure how that's going to go. And I do have to hope as well that Ben Mullick's made it back. I know he was traveling away. Certainly himself and the Real Street guys definitely make for some entertaining racing, definitely on the aggressive side. But I did have a thought, and it's just gone. It was important, but it has indeed left me.
I have a thought. Dry line forming. Have you noticed with Javi Sierra making his way around, there's a bit more of a dry line starting to form. But there's only 5 minutes remaining in the race, so I don't think it's going to be enough of a dry line to justify slicks. We'll need to wait to see if there's a swing in the lap times here, because Sierra is setting low 139s at the moment. Michael Pacheco on the slick tires just set a 39.9, so it looks like we are almost at that crossover point with just 4 minutes to go. Sierra and Pacheco may still have to pit. Question is, will Sierra stay on the wets? Will Pacheco stay on the slicks? I think if I was Pacheco, I would stay on the slicks because the track is starting to come to them now.
It's not enough time left in the race for me to even consider changing tyres. I would be the quickest little splash and dash if I've not managed to save enough fuel to go by. But I do remember my chain of thought race, and bear with me on this one. So CJ Conklin obviously works for Podium on Indeed an enthusiast. Well, in conditions like this, CJ, I have a challenge for you, sir. Let's see a rain simulator. I want to see you video live stream getting absolutely having the water coming in through the sides. I think that would be good fun. I know they've got windscreens and stuff like that, and I know these cars are very good, very well built, but still, you get the point. Will you open cockpit?
Just move your sim rig into your shower. I think that would be, that'll be the way to go. Well, for the moment, it seems that the gaps amongst the field have all extended to more than a second between cars. And the Aerokinetics Honda Civic is continuing to keep that dry line forming. Obviously, in the wet, you want to run slightly wide of that dry line just to keep the tires cool. And you see that's what Sierra's been doing on the straights pretty much the whole time. He has been sticking to the left until he absolutely needs to switch over for the braking zone for turn 7. Just to keep those tires cool. And he's going to have to do that more and more now as the dry line is upon us here. 2.5 minutes to go, and my timing is telling me that next lap may be the final lap. It depends on when Sierra crosses the line, how much time is left when he does.
Indeed, it's definitely been a beautiful race. Look at the fans who've come out here in absolute strides, ladies and gentlemen. The grandstands fully packed. Here we go. Javi Sierra finally brings it down pit road.
So 51 seconds back to Michael Pacheco. Let's see if Pacheco will jump in and do the same thing here that Sierra is doing. So into the pits now, and a very long pit lane it is at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Looks like even if you stop for only 4.5 seconds like Andrew Garov, you've still got a pit lane transit time of about 50 seconds or so. It's really massive indeed. Battle not quite on between Pierce Fox and Doug Sorrentino. It would appear that Sorrentino has lost even more time here, and Pierce Fox is about to unlap himself.
Yeah, certainly. I have a feeling these guys are just having fun at this point. Indeed, what a way to end it. Definitely a little bit different here as Michael Pacheco I still don't see him come down pit road. He's got to pit soon, surely. Or has he managed to save fuel? He's still going.
Maybe he has. He is still going, and that is a minute to go now with Javi Sierra just exiting pit lane ahead. Sierra has stayed on the same set of tires that he came in on, so he had the margin to work with to do it, but Pacheco could potentially do this without having to make a pit stop. That would certainly be quite the achievement.
Indeed, fair play to him, and certainly, you know what, where you're going to be on dry tires on a wet track, he's not going to be as hard on the throttle, because certainly it's going to end up absolutely biting him and sending him off into the Neverland there, as Andrew Garrell gets a little bit flirtatious there with the grass, indeed, as he's trying to make his way past one of the GT4 cars. That is Joshua Travis.
Yep, not ideal when that happens to you. Meanwhile, Sean Phillips going to take just about the white flag in the GT4 class, but Quinn Manders is chasing him down here. And, well, already had a pit stop to his name as Quinn. I believe he might be on the dries, and the time is really coming to him. Look at that there. He's going to try around the outside of Sean Phillips, and he's going to get it done. So our top 3 TCR cars are once again ahead of our GT4 leader, and confirmed this is the last lap for our overall leader, Javi Sierra. Pack of cars starting to form now here between Joshua Travis, Andrew Garov, and Maxwell Budd, with Chris Scheusler up ahead. This is all for second place in the GT4 class. Travis and Budd catching up to Scheusler quite a bit here, as the dry tires now see their run happen here late on in the race.
Yeah, Maxwell Budd here, he's on dries. Chris Scheusler and indeed Joshua Travis are indeed on wets. This is going to be absolutely crucial here. Could these two drivers potentially end up losing the podium in the final stages of the race? Let's check a quick peek here where Javi Sierra is indeed. Michael Pacheco. Yep, thank you. Do one. Thank you. As you can see there, Michael Pacheco finally bringing it down pit lane.
Yes,
here we go.
Oh, goodness me. And Maxwell Budd sweeping up the inside there. And Joshua Travis and Chris Scheusler both losing out there. Maxwell Budd making the right decision in that context to stay on the dry tires. It allowed him the opportunity to make that move and get back into second. There is a pass indeed. Quinn Manders and Michael Pacheco. It looks like Pacheco's going to come out just ahead of Manders, and there's going to be a battle for second place in GT4, but it's happening nearly a minute behind Javi Sierra, who's about to negotiate the final corner here and take the TCR championship in style. Fantastic job from Javi today. Starting on the wets was the right decision, and he will win by about 55 seconds or so to cap off the championship. He is your TCR champion as well.
I've got to say, fair play to Javi. He's been absolutely on it all season long. But right now, though, we've got a battle here for second place, not just in the TCR class, but indeed overall. It's going to be Quinn Manders. I'll just be driving in the number 14 car, indeed applying all sorts of pressure here to Michael Pacheco. Not only that, it's wet tires versus dry tires. Indeed, Pacheco here on a drying track. Is he going to be an advantage as they make their way around the final corner?
That is the question. Let's see who gets the best couple of runs here. Just behind them is going to be Sean Phillips and CJ Conklin as well. So we're going to be seeing a couple of great shots here as they come across the line. Manders trying his best to keep that pace up, but I think Pacheco has done enough there to keep him behind and take that dub in the battle for second place. Or has he? Oh, he's catching back up on the way to the line. But it is going to be Pacheco ahead for second in the end. And just behind them, Sean Phillips, with the best tire choice in the entire field, is going to take the win in GT4. That white Mustang on top for the first time.
I've got to say, I'm damn proud of Phillips, indeed. He's worked hard all season today. He does indeed get to bring home the bacon. Takes P1 in class. Maxwell Budd able to recover up to second here. But let's give a shout out to these guys as well. Joshua Travis, he's managed to find his way in a third. Indeed, Chris Scheusler up in a fourth, the hard charger of the field, excluding Phillips.
Yeah, Schussler did very well to start on the wets and gain that early advantage. The track late on was falling away from the wet tyres, so he wasn't quite able to hold on to that pace, but still able to build enough of an advantage early on that he gets 4th place in the end in class. Fantastic job. Well, it looks like that's everybody across the line, and our opportunity to find our way to the results as Chris celebrates on his way to the pits here. So in the end, Javi Sierra confirmed your TCR champion with the win in class and overall. 56 seconds back, Michael Pacheco and Quinn Manders battling to the line, only a few hundredths of a second between them in the end, with Sean Phillips taking the win in GT4, CJ Conklin rounding out 4th place in TCR. Maxwell Budd and Joshua Travis are going to join Sean Phillips on the GT4 podium with Chris Scheusler in 4th. Andrew Garov and Scott Laurenti rounding out your top 6 in TCR, with Pete Gigi unfortunately also finishing a lap down with them. Piers Fox, Doug Sorrentino, Amrit Vestrala and Jack Minter all finishing off the lead lap in GT4, but I think with that result we can confirm that Doug Sorrentino is your GT4 champion.
Oh, absolutely incredible stuff. Certainly, definitely not the race that I was expecting indeed. But let's have a chat here with this gentleman for the first time ever. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a new race winner. It's Sean Phillips here, winning the GT4 class. Reese, I'm sending him able to catch up with him.
Congratulations, Sean. Yeah, holy cow indeed, mate. That was that was a real big brain choice going for those wet tires at the start. Looked a bit sketchy early on whether or not which tire was going to work.
Well, Reese and Zippy, oh, this is so much fun. This is the first time here, obviously. And it was a good thing, went through qualifying and practice just to get a feel for, what the track felt like. And it was like, there's no way I'm starting on slicks. And so it happened to be the right choice, and just glad to be here. This is more fun than I've had.
Yeah, it's been quite the interesting season for you. A wide variety of tracks having to be tackled over the course of the season, but you've always been there to pick up the pieces when one of our front runners or more has unfortunately lost their marbles. So this is another fantastic points opportunity for you, Sean.
Oh, and that's usually my strategy, is to, like you said, pick up the marbles so I can pass people that spin in front of me. That's easy.
Yeah, indeed. But finally, getting that dub, getting the silverware, and in the final round of the season, Sean, it must feel good to get it.
It does. This is a great time, and I appreciate everything that the guys at P1 did for me. I've got one of their rigs, and I just like it a whole heck of a lot of fun. And you guys make it even more exciting. You get to watch the replays and get the commentary. So well done, everybody.
Just getting that replay of you making those moves around the outside of Piers Fox and Doug Sorrentino on lap 1. Incredible driving today, Sean. You took advantage of the conditions. Congratulations.
Hey, thanks so much, guys. Really appreciate it.
Sean Phillips there for the first time on top in the GT4 class. Zippy, I understand you've got Michael Pacheco from 2nd place in TCR.
Indeed, Mike, I've got to say, definitely a little bit of a disadvantage for yourself there, going on the dry tyres for the whole entire race. Is that something that you came to regret quite quickly?
Yeah, I did, most definitely. I thought the dry line was going to come much quicker because the track said lightly wet. So I was like, you know what, we might dry it up pretty quick with 20 cars on the track. And it just didn't come up till almost 7 minutes left, and just ended up shooting myself in the foot. But it is what it is, you live and you learn.
Well, certainly, Mike, if it's any consolation, I had the same strategy, and indeed, it would have backfired on me as well. But I've got to say, it definitely made for an interesting race indeed. Certainly, the TCRs today actually quicker than the GT4s. Never would have seen that coming, but fair play, able to get not just 2nd in class, but 2nd overall. How do you feel now about Indianapolis when it's a little bit mildly moist?
I've done some practice. I'm feeling good about it. I actually like wet conditions. I'm pretty good in it. It's just my dumb self decided to go on a dry tire when I should have stayed on a wet. But we'll see what happens. I want to say congrats to Javi for winning the overall. He's great. Congrats to him. And thanks to Gulf Coast Sims, my team does really well, and I'm glad to be here with them racing.
But certainly, you definitely did them proud today. Able to get a P2 in class. But Mike, I understand we're going to be seeing you in the GTD class in just a few short moments. We're going to wish you the best of luck of that as you go and prepare. And indeed, we'll look forward to seeing you back again in the booth, hopefully sometime soon.
Yep, thank you.
Good stuff from Michael Pacheco today. And finally, Maxwell Budd is joining us from the GT4 class. Quite the interesting night, Maxwell, with Sorrentino finishing down in 6th, you getting 2nd place in what was a very tight race indeed.
Yeah, it was a very interesting start. So I think the top 4 there decided to go on slick tires, including me, and it kind of backfired a little bit at the beginning of the race.
You were making up some fantastic time in the late stages, though, making that double pass on Joshua Travis and Chris Scheusler in the end, which must have felt good. But yeah, it took a long time to get to that point with the track not really getting rid of its standing water.
No, it was right up until the last 2 minutes of the race that I started really gaining that time, and it was pretty tough. I honestly, looking back, hindsight, probably should have stayed on the wets, but sometimes you got to take the risk.
That's it. And late on, the risk paid off for you getting a podium while your championship rivals finished a bit further behind you. So at the very least, this is going to be a big points haul. I'm not exactly sure what the championship's going to look like coming out of this final round, but you would have gained a big points advantage there.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for.
Well, we will certainly see what the race administrators have to say with the final point standings yet to be decided. Thank you very much for joining us, Max, and well, we'll likely be seeing you in the GT3s later on as well.
Thanks, guys.
Maxwell Budd there, finishing on the podium in the GT4 class, and for the moment, we'll be taking a short break in between the GT4 and TCR and GT3 races, Zippy. But while we have a moment, I think we should give a little promo to the event that we've got coming up on Wednesday. We're going to be celebrating our 250th show here on Pit Road Productions, and well, we will see potentially the right one there. There we go. For context, Zippy in his initial notes for the poster when I was making it said Donington Park GP, but he meant National the whole time. So we're going to be racing at Donington Park National for the first race on Wednesday in the Spec Racer form, and then 35 minutes in the Radical SR10. This is a celebration of the community that we've helped to gather here at Pit Road Productions, and celebrating 250 shows. If you've been in a race broadcast by Pit Road Productions across any point in our history thus far, you are cordially invited. Make sure to join the league. The ID is down there at the bottom left, and sort things out. 8:15 Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday, March the 25th, with the servers going up a little bit earlier than that. Make sure to get your registrations in. For now, we're going to take a very short break here on Pit Road Productions and come back very shortly for the Podium 1 Fixed Series Championships, the GT3 class, coming soon.
Are you ready? Ladies and gentlemen.
You're watching Pit Road Productions. It's time once again for the Podium 1 Fixed Series Championships, the final round at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We had a wet and drying track in the GT4 and TCR race, and it looks to be the same in the GT3 race as well. The GTD and GTD Pro cars are out there trying to suss out what on earth is the best way to take this track in incredibly wet conditions. Once again, I'm Reese Gardner with Daniel Zippy Salmon alongside me in the commentary box. And, well, Zippy, we've got a couple more championships to decide here.
Indeed we do. We're going to start off here with the GTD Pro. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been an absolute beastie of a battle. But right now, Alex Zart leading the charge with 552 points. Bryce Crone there in second with 534. And indeed, then we drop a little bit of a way back here. Maxwell Butler doing quite well with 490 points. He's there in third. A little bit of a gap again. About, hang on a second here. 37 points. Zippy math for the win. 37 points in the making, ladies and gentlemen. Joshua Wilford, last season's champion. Currently back there in fourth with Manuel Sandoval there in fifth. Just 10 points clear of Pierce Fox. But let's take a look here at the GTD class as well.
Indeed, the effective AM class here with Ben Millick out in front, but not by a huge amount, only 13 points over Jack Minter, with Wilton Palermo, Kenneth Narvaez, and Jay Williams rounding out the top five. Looking quite close between Palermo and Narvaez. So we'll see what they can do to sort that out between themselves. Michael Clark and Michael Belair rounding out the top seven. Then it's Quinn Manders, Tommy Polte, and Dustin Warren with our top 10 positions in the GTD class. Rather difficult to sort things out here on a wet track, and the big question on everyone's mind is which tire is going to be the correct one to start on. Which one is the best for qualifying? Well, it's definitely the wet. Look at how much standing water there is on the circuit. Look at how much everybody is struggling here, as Wilton Palermo has run the fastest time in qualifying so far. Everyone is on the wet tires, only 18-degree track temperature Celsius. It looks like we may be seeing another massively mixed up grid.
Yeah, definitely so. Indeed, the rain is, I always call it a great equalizer, and certainly we've got somebody here making a comment saying Bryce champion. Indeed, I'd like to see it. Certainly he's got potential, but right now, one thing to keep in mind, Ben Melick, currently leading the GTD class, is not here today, but Jack Minter is. He may indeed lose his championship by not attending. He's had to go away for work. Indeed, it could be an expensive work trip in terms of championship points.
Yeah, certainly could. I don't think we're going to be seeing much from him in this final round, but regardless, we'll be seeing once more the qualifying session enter its final third as Bryce Crone puts his car on pole position in the GTD Pro class, down to a 132.88 now, as we try to find who's got the best pace out there for the moment. That seems to be a little bit of a problem there for Bryce Crone. The fact that he has taken provisional pole with that car is nothing short of amazing.
Yeah, he's just showing off as Michael Clark there, making his way down the pit exit, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Let's go on board with Greg Bryce.
All right, here we go then. Find our way down to turn one. It's a very long run to the first corner here at Indianapolis, and you've got to be so careful when you jump on the brakes. Look at all the standing water around here, especially around the curbs. You've got to stay off those curbs and the white lines through this opening section. They are shiny, and that's going to be a spin. And I think that's not the first time we're going to be picking a car to ride on board with and have them make a mistake.
Indeed, it's definitely easily done here. Looks like Pierce Fox is bringing it around the final corner as well. But don't get wrong, having a hard time working out. They're both big, long right-handers. And indeed, yep, I've done it again.
Indeed. Looks like Matt Jones in the Acura, the sole Acura in the field, is having quite a bit of success as well. He's made his way up to P3 now in qualifying. So
there we go. Come on, Alex.
Good opportunity. Yep, Alex Zart taking provisional pole on a 132.6. So we'll see what he can do to make any improvements on this lap. Potentially a bit of traffic ahead of him as the championship leader finds his way up towards Michael Pacheco and Bryce Crone. Once again, it seems that there's, he's picking the line nicely. The standing water just seems to be around the edges of the racetrack in that section. You got to be so careful over the curb, though. Wheel completely straight, and then moving yourself all the way out over the concrete just to avoid sliding too much on the curb. A lot of spray, but could potentially have some moisture moved out of the way. Just in front of him. Is Pacheco going to hold him up here? That is the question. He's going to stick to the outside here. Alex Zart having to find his way through there. It looks like the McLaren went off into the grass. But through those S's, Alex Zart having a nice run. And just a few more corners to go now. This puddle, that standing water there, coming back onto the oval is what caught out quite a few drivers in the GT4s and TCRs earlier. And it's certainly the same for the GT3s. With a little bit more downforce, though, they are able to maintain the speed and the grip. Nice line through the last couple of turns here for Alex Zart. And now it's just about managing the grip, managing the potential oversteer and understeer. And he manages to keep it out of the wall on the exit. Is this going to be an improvement? Will he get into the 131s? Let's see. Across the line he will come to 33.3. But Wilton Palermo has gone even faster, and he's still going purple in the second last sector here. Palermo is on fire.
Whoa, 132 point. Wow, he's done it even quick. He's into the 131s. Incredibly
That's crazy.
paced. Where did he pull
Amazing
this out
pace.
of?
Yeah, I have no idea. Wilton Palermo, he's shown great potential in these last few rounds, but this Porsche is really enjoying the wet conditions at Indianapolis.
Oh my gosh. Reese, read the production chat. You're going to start laughing. Meanwhile, take a look at the YouTube chat. I'm in discomfort after that. Regardless of what happens, I'm pulling for my boy Alex. Thanks for a great season, Reese and Zippy. Great production all around. Oh, in case you missed it, let's go, Zart. That's from Jeff Winkers there. And indeed, who we got here now? Palermo on fire. Sheesh from Armando Arenz. Yeah, Palermo is on fire. And I have to say, if you know him, give us some stick here, because he's not in his banana suit this week. He is out of uniform, sir.
And all things considered, Palermo is one of our GTD class. He's technically not part of our pro class. If we could bring up those GTD championship standings again, just for a bit of a reminder of where Palermo's at. Third place in the championship. All things considered, if Melik and Minter, I mean, Minter's obviously not here. If Melik has a bad race, then we could see Wilton Palermo be a surprise.
And he's just gone faster again.
Yeah.
He's just gone a 131.6. I'm not going to celebrate the way I just did a minute ago, but what did you guys put in Weetabix this week? Because obviously it's working.
I mean, if there's any round for Wilton Palermo to take advantage of the fact that neither of his championship rivals are here, this is the week to do it. If he manages to get max points, remember that the GTD and GTD Pro classes are scored based on overall position. They don't have separate points. So, I mean, a win is a win. If Palermo can take it, that's going to be, what, 100 and something points?
I'm definitely not the math. I'm not the guy to do points math on a broadcast, but here's something for a bit of context. Obviously, we know Alex Zart's potent, Bryce Crone potent. He's got Zart beat by 0.8 of a second. That's... Yeah. This guy's swinging. And we got Armando in the chat saying 3,000 laps of practice paying off. Yeah, I don't know what he did. It's working. Fair play to the guy. It's working. It could be the rain. Maybe the rain is a benefit to him. But he's absolutely making this Porsche look effortless there. Zart's off in the grass.
Yeah,
I think that's Bryce Crone right behind him as well.
This is going to be... This is going to be quite the race.
Oh.
Isn't it? Oh, as we're seeing more problems at the end of qualifying there. Yeah, Kevin Rosario with his fair share of problems there in the session. Where is Rosario right now? He's 9th place overall. So, yeah, still not doing too badly. As that's a late improvement there from Michael Clark, who just goes up to P3 in the Lamborghini. Looks like our GTD class is having a fantastic time here in the wet.
Yeah, definitely interesting to see. Not only that, Michael Clark we got on the cameras as well, but keep in mind for this guy as well, Jack Minter, he is last season's AM champion, I think it was back then. Right now in the points as well, he's got a chance to win this thing, but he's currently back down P16 overall. Wilton Palermo, he's the man who I've got money on today, ladies and gentlemen, because indeed, he's absolutely sending it. But Manuel Sandoval has indeed just answered back 8 tenths per second. He says no thank you, brings it down to about 4 taps.
Oh boy, here we go then. Let's give ourselves the run here towards the end of the session. We are now in overtime. Officially, checkered flag has flown, so anyone who's on a lap can finish it.
Minter improves.
Will there... Oh, that's good there. Jack Minter going to jump back in here. Amrit Vestrala moving up to P8. Bryce Crone moving up to P3. Some big late improvements happening here in the dying moments of this session. Michael Clark setting personal bests on his next lap here. Could potentially still go for a top 3. Maybe go purple in the final sector and take provisional pole. We'll have to wait and see on that. Across the line he comes and he's down, unfortunately, in sector 4. But that's enough to get on the front row with Wilton Palermo.
Attaboy, Michael Clark. What have you guys been doing in this off week?
This is crazy.
I'm lost for words. Like, these guys, I mean, don't get me wrong, we got no Joshua Wilford this week either, but this is not the podium I was expecting to see. And indeed, I'm happy for these guys. They are absolutely on it. Bryce Crone, though, still currently doing a lap. Are we going to see him make his way to the top of the food chain? Albeit with that slightly somewhat optimized AMG.
Yeah, well, we'll have to wait and see on that. Oh, well, looks like a bit more track time being made there as the session ticks over to 0 and everything goes black as we come back to life and find the grid for the final round of our GTD and GTD Pro classes here in the Podium 1 Fixed Series Championships. It's going to be a GTD front row with Wilton Palermo and Michael Clark going to lead us away. Manuel Sandoval and Bryce Crone are going to be 3rd and 4th with Alex Zart, the championship leader, starting out of P5. Pierce Fox starts alongside him in P6. Hans Brady and Amrit Vestrala are your 4th row with Kenneth Narvaez and Jack Minter rounding out your top 10. Good to see that Minter got in, albeit late, but enough to get up there in the field.
Over there in P11, we're going to have Maxwell Budd alongside Matt Jones in 12th, the only accurate in the field. Kevin Rosario rocking a student driver livery this week. He's going to be there in 13th with Pete, oh my gosh, can't read it there, Pete Jeji in 14th. Chris Bracetti takes 15th with Greg Boyce in 16th. Kerry Corcoran, the Patriot himself, he's going to be there in 17th with Jay Williams alongside in 18th for Gulf Coast Sims. 19th, Michael Pacheco also for Gulf Coast Sims. He's going to be there in 19th. Indeed, with Michael Belair surprisingly far back today in P20.
21st place, Andrew Garov with Joshua Travis alongside Quinn Manders and our GT4 race winner, Sean Phillips, going to round out the 12th row of the grid. Then it's CJ Conklin and Doug Sorrentino in race control. So that looks like it's going to be 24 cars taking to the start of this final round. Oh boy, what a field we have here.
Yeah, somebody might want to tell Pete Jeji he's currently got dry tyres on, because I have a feeling that is not going to be a wide shot. Bryce Crone's done it as well. Oh dear, guys, somebody tell him in the race chat this might not be a good plan. Is this intentional, or is it potentially automotive carnage about to unfold?
Yeah, this is, I feel a bit scared. We'll have to wait and see how this works out. I'm sure if anyone's on the wrong tyre, they will find out in a moment as they get rolling and realize, hang on a minute, my car is not responding through these puddles. Uh-oh.
Well, Bryce Crone's gone for the dry. Hans Brady's gone for the dry. Indeed, Kevin Rosario and Pete Jeji as well. Jay Williams. And it looks like Chris Bracetti potentially starting in the pits. Oh, is this going to be a stroke of genius or indeed I don't think that was intentional. I need more information, Reese. I've got to know if this was on purpose, because I have a feeling this is going to backfire spectacularly for Crone.
Yeah, and I mean, looking at the weather radar, it looks like a small bank of rain just passed over the circuit mere minutes before the race session officially started. Looking at the track wetness, it is lightly wet once again, so I think we've got a similar situation to the GT4 and TCR event. This track is going to be wet for a while, but it will get dry towards the end. And GT3 cars, they produce a bit more downforce, they have wider tires, they will force more water out of the way, so there is potential, especially with the race being 10 minutes longer than the previous race we've seen tonight, to have the track dry out a little bit earlier. So who knows what's going to happen from that? Will we see? Anyone decide to pit for dries early? Where is the crossover point? So many questions about how this race is going to turn out.
Yeah, I have a feeling a few of these drivers have gone, oops, missed the grid, and then decided to take a tyre change right at the start. Oh, God, I have a feeling this is going to be carnage.
Okay. Dearie me. So, reminder of who is likely on dry tires. Bryce Crone, Hans Brady, we have Rosario, Jeji, and Brissetti showing up as on dry tires on my end at least, and Jay Williams as well, potentially on dry tires. Brissetti and Williams going to be starting this race from the pit lane. And it seems that pretty much everyone else is on the wets, and it seems the correct tire for this particular phase of the race anyway. There is going to be a required pit stop here in the GT3s, so it's not as similar a case of the GT4 and TCRs where, you know, you could pit or you could not and just stick it out on the tires you have. There is going to be potential to switch to dry tires at the end of this race, but I think the drivers are going to be waiting as long as they possibly can to get into the lane.
Yeah, I don't think I'd go for a tyre change, honestly. I don't think the race is long enough to do it. I honestly feel that the strategy on here is 100% go wet.
Yeah, but potentially dry tires may come into the fold here, and if they're going to pit anyway, they might as well get on the dries. That's the point I'm trying to make here. We'll see, though, how it works out. He is gone, has Wilton Palermo, and leads us away to the green flag. And the final round of the Podium 1 Fixed Series Championships. Let's go. We got a spinner behind, and that's going to be one of our Real Street Mustangs, who still hasn't recovered it there. Vanishes out of frame at the top there. And yeah, just keeps going there. Looked like potentially who on earth was that? Oh, Bryce Crone in the Mercedes, but who was in the Mustang?
That was Hans Brady, indeed. Both of those drivers on carrying the dry tires, but Pierce Fox has managed to pick up a black flag somewhere. Indeed, as has Michael Belair by the look of it as well. Joshua Travers has picked up a black flag, sure, but I have a feeling these probably need to be cleared due to the carnage at the start. Meanwhile, though, Wilton Palermo has said thank you very much, and is just running away with it right now. Attaboy, he's currently there in the lead by about 2.3 seconds.
Yes. But it's not going to be a 2.3 second lead for long.
Yeah.
Yes, as the safety car has come out. That came out pretty early on. CJ Conklin threw it, and well, Hans Brady did not have a good time starting on the dry tires. Absolutely no grip. And he got cleaned up there by one of the Porsches at the back there. I think that might have been Jeji, potentially. Not entirely sure, but yeah, that's why most of the field started on wet tires. Oh, God, yeah. Pete couldn't really do much about that. Visibility was low, and the speeds were high.
I gotta be honest, I should probably be trying not to laugh, but as race starts go, it was pretty funny. Oh dear.
Yeah, it was a difficult race start. Yeah, Bryce Crone with his fair share of problems as well. Another driver starting on the dry tires, and as the driver who's trying to pass Alex Zart for the championship lead. Getting on the right tire at the start, the most crucial choice of all. And unfortunately, Bryce made the wrong choice.
Yeah, I definitely think it was a brave choice. Don't get me wrong, it was high risk, and fair play to him, but it's not really gone to plan for a few of these drivers. But I can tell you there is indeed no black flags to be served as the safety car is going to be out and about.
Indeed it is. Brassetti. It's picked up Chris Brassetti. Not entirely sure what the deal is here. Potentially Brassetti's going to get a wave around as Wilton Palermo is still finding his way to this sector of the lap. Going to be seeing a few drivers making their way into the pits as well. Jay Williams jumping back in. He came out on the dries and under safety car. Probably good opportunity to switch to the wets and stop yourself from losing too much track position.
Well, indeed, taking a quick look, Brassetti started from the pits, but despite that, he's still on dry tires. That's not a good plan there, Chris. You might want to reevaluate that one, sir.
Yeah, Rosario and Krohn are still on their dry tires as well, from what I can see, as our leaders have finally caught up here. Got to be careful of the checkup coming on to the start-finish straight.
There we go.
And, yeah, here we go. Kevin Rosario making his way into the pits. This is going to be a run onto wet tires for sure.
Greg Boyce making his way down pit road as well. Yep.
And Greg Boyce was already on wets. But I think from this far back in the field, yeah, black flag. But, you know, if you're further back in the field, I think it's a good idea to jump into the pits anyway under caution if an early caution comes out, because you can top up your fuel tank and allow yourself to push on a little bit further.
Yeah, it looks like Greg Boyce there picking up a bit of heavy damage on the right front corner. So indeed, that's probably going to be the biggest reason he's brought it down pit road. But right now, not that we've really had much, but Kevin Narvaez currently has the fastest lap with 143.36.
Yes, he does. Kenneth Narvaez has seen great pace this season thus far, but that pace could be a tiny bit misleading. With these wet conditions, we're still not entirely sure who is the quickest in the current conditions, but this caution period is eating into the race time. It also means that the pit stops are going to be shorter, and it means that any potential tire change may hurt you a bit more. So if you're on dry tires and wanting to go to wets, I would just take the pain now. I would make the switch now, because if you try to push it till later on, it's just going to hurt you. Yeah,
indeed. I think if you've made a miscalculation here and stayed on the dries, the return on investment is only getting worse the longer you're out there. And indeed, currently the hard charges, Joshua Travis, he's currently up 7 positions on the day.
Yeah, that's largely due to Rosario, Phillips, Boyce making their way through the pit lane. The problems for Pete Geggi, for Jay Williams, for Hans Brady, making up quite a few spots. Pacheco, Travis, Garov, Manders, and Phillips, and Michael Belair making up those 8 spots thus far. Having to work his way past Kerry Corcoran, Michael Pacheco as well. It's been an interesting run for him. But yellow flag still out, waiting for the lights on the pace car to turn out.
One thing I can tell you is that Bryce Krohn is still on the dry tires as well. I have to say, that's a high-risk strategy. I do wonder if he can make it pay off.
Yeah, I wonder too. It's... Well, I mean, you talk about like high risk, high reward, all of that. I think that if you're starting on dry tires on a track that is clearly wet, it is high risk, no reward, because you're basically putting yourself in a position where you're either going to be super slow or you're going to be sliding off everywhere.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it wouldn't be the strategy choice. Indeed, Chris Rossetti there being given a wave around. He's going to try and make his way by. Wilton Palermo will be doing the race start, and I believe that may be the lights on the pace car now resolved. Yep.
Yes, with the wave arounds done, that's going to be going green at the end of this lap. And it's going to be between Wilton Palermo and Michael Clark once again. Very early caution period here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway to round off the season. As things stand, Alex Zart has the advantage over his other championship rivals. He remains in 5th spot, but Bryce Crone still on the dry tires. It looks like Zart is just going to tiptoe his way around, not make any big aggressive moves because he knows that Crone's going to be falling back.
Yeah, certainly when you've got that kind of advantage, you know, under your belt, definitely would make the most of it there. It looks like he's trying to get a little bit of cooling there on the tyres, trying to keep going through the puddles as well. But I've got to say, Wilton Palermo really bringing the cheerleading section today in the form of Armando Arens. He's definitely got a lot of support going for him. Indeed, Jeff Winkers there, despite being a Zart fan, is saying that Wilton's feeling it. And I've got to say, I'm inclined to agree.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Wilton Palermo is feeling it today, and considering 40 points behind or thereabouts, 32 points behind Ben Mellick for the GTD championship, there is still some potential for Palermo to make some fantastic advantage out of this one. There's 80 points for a win. 75 for second, 71 for third. And don't forget, that's overall position, which is what our class points go off here. So you never know. This could be Palermo's championship drive. We'll have to wait and see how Mellick does.
No, indeed, Mellick's not here, so it's going to have to...
He's
I'm
not
not quite
here.
sure. Yeah, I'm going to have to wonder as well if those drop rounds certainly not the most familiar. We do so many shows, ladies and gentlemen. My apologies there. But right now, I have to say, Michael Clark's looking feisty. He looks like he's ready to go. Pace car lights are out, but Wilton Palermo, he's going to be controlling the start. Last time round, he absolutely slingshot himself about 2.3 seconds into the lead.
All right, then, let's lead ourselves away to the final start here. Well, hopefully the final restart, my apologies. Yeah, as we are away. Green flag flies, and it looks like a pretty good run from Wilton Palermo, but Michael Clark's getting in the slipstream. Manuel Sandoval pulls out and tries to get back onto the dry line on the way into turn one. He's going to try and make the move on Michael Clark, but no, they just avoid making contact into turn one. A bit of a cleaner start, especially up the front here, and I see Bryce Crone still holding on to P10 for the moment, but there's a car spun at turn two, sorry. That is Matt Jones in the Acura. Maybe on the wets, but still, I think may have caught a curb the wrong way.
Indeed, definitely easily done here. Jack Minter, he's currently looking to try and get another championship win. Indeed, it's potentially, could he do it here? As you can see there, he's currently there in P7 overall, applying all sorts of pressure to the back of Kevin and Barbados, who's absolutely he's been on it in recent form. Indeed, the Nicaraguan driver has got potential, but Amrit Bashar has said, indeed, you're one of your heavy-set favourites here, Alex Zart, doing pretty well as well.
Yes, Zart has managed to maintain 5th place, but Bryce Crone is under so much attack right now. He is losing out massively. Corcoran's just gotten by him, as has Pacheco. In those twisty sections of the lap, that Mercedes has no pace on the dry tyres. And is that a problem for the front right there for Bryce Crone? I'm not entirely sure. I think that car might be slightly damaged. We'll have to wait and see. Just beside him, there was a big hit there. The BMW of, I think, Joshua Travis got absolutely cleaned up. And that's going to be another yellow flag there. Corvette went into him. It was Sean Phillips.
Yeah, it is Sean Phillips. He's definitely going to be riding the high there of his GT4 and goes in a little bit hard. He does, in fairness, he tries to avoid it. Taps Josh Travis, who does a beautiful 180 around there. Michael Pacheco, nowhere to go. And Phillips has to scurry away from the scene on that occasion. I don't think he'd have felt good about that. Definitely not intentional, by all means.
Well, the full course yellow is back out again, and Joshua Travis jumps immediately into the pit lane. We'll be seeing the standing water evolve quite a bit over the course of this one, but we are now quarter of the race down. Oh, it's Quinn Manders, yes. That McLaren looking quite substandard for the moment. Manders doing all right in the TCR a little bit earlier. But regardless, we need to keep our eyes peeled for the time ticking down, because that first caution period lasted about 7 minutes or so. And it looks like it might be around about the same here. A 40-minute race. We have 27 minutes to go, and we are in our second full course caution period as Sorrentino has slammed Sean Phillips with a drive-through penalty for reasons that were pretty obvious if you saw the replay just a minute or two ago.
Yeah, definitely not intentional, but fair play by race control as well. I'm not going to argue with that in the slightest. I 100% agree.
Yep, a little bit too late on the brakes, and no way he could realistically slow it up from that deep into the corner. But Wilton Palermo has had the easiest drive of all, it seems. He had mild pressure from Michael Clark, but right when the race was starting to get close up the front, the caution flag came out again. Chris Brassetti is going to exit a closed pit lane. So that may be an extra black flag for him. Of course, running to oval racing rules do the cautions run in iRacing, and our race control team is using the iRace control software, which gives you an ability to throw cautions and decide criteria for cautions being automatically thrown. But we do not have a dedicated caution rule set for road course racing. That means that drivers need to be aware of the pits being closed as the train goes by, and waiting a lap or two for pit road to be open. Of course, different series have different rules around cautions, but the waiver rounds look to have been started here, and Brassetti is going to come back around. Despite his penalty, he will get back onto the lead lap, and Jay Williams is going to follow him.
Indeed, taking a quick look, both of these drivers still on the dry tyre as well, despite the fact they've been down pit lane, still rocking the dries. So certainly it's only those two drivers and Bryce Crone currently rocking the dries. And indeed, definitely it's ambitious, but fair play to Bryce. He's still out there. And I'm not sure that's damage, Reese. I mean, if anything, it's going to be the left front corner, yet left front corner, very minor damage.
No. Go back to the left front. See where the wheel is in relation to the fender. Now go to the front right.
Yeah, left front's broken.
There's a difference.
Yeah, left front's broken.
Right front's broken. Right front's broken. It's pushed in. Is it? What?
I think the left front's broken.
Help us out here.
The front bumper is broken.
We're going to pose this question to you, the audience. Is this Mercedes broken? Please help. Oh dear. Regardless, Bryce Crone is likely going to fall back even further. Time is running out here. With all of this time spent under caution period, that is less time that they have to clear the water off the racetrack at racing speed. And so I think it's going to be a much longer time before we actually get that dry line starting to form. I get the feeling that Crone is just going to keep falling down the order here.
Yeah, he should have gone and boxed earlier on. Indeed, the ideal thing, you start on the wets. As a few drivers actually making it down pit road. Pierce Fox is one of them. He's the first one down pit lane. Quinn Manders, you can definitely tell apart. His McLaren is pretty much looks like the front end's been stolen at this point. And indeed, the only Acura in the field as well, Matt Jones, making his way down pit lane. But while we got this brief break here on the safety car, Reese, let's have a little bit of a mention about our own special event coming up this Wednesday.
Yes, it's going to be on the 25th of March this week. And if you've been involved in a race broadcast by Pit Road Productions, you are cordially invited to our 250th celebration. It's basically going to be an all-star race with myself and Zippy in the field, and racing against a bunch of people that have already signed up from all of the various championships that we broadcast here on the old YouTubes. 2 races in the Spec Racer Ford at Donington Park National and the Radical SR10 at Road Atlanta Full. The event should conclude in about 90 minutes to an hour and 40 minutes with a bit of extra time beforehand for practice in the Spec Racer Ford. We do hope to see you there if you're a driver in one of our championships and you want to have an extra race on Wednesday night. League ID in the bottom left corner.
Indeed, we'd love to see you. And certainly, if you have any beef with myself or Reese, come put your money where your mouth is. And indeed, come race alongside us, or at least try to. Reese Gardner, pretty potent and radical. I came to find out last night.
Yes, I was actually quite surprised that I was as far ahead as I was, so we'll have to wait and see what I can do there. I think I need to work a bit more on my Spec Racer Ford pace, though. That car has always been a bit difficult for me, but regardless, we'll find out on Wednesday night whether or not that happens. Got a few drivers from Podium 1 here that have decided to show their hand for the event coming up on Wednesday. Bryce Crone being one of them. Got the pleasure of racing against him last night, and it'll be good to see what he can do on Wednesday. But for the moment, looks like lights are out on the pace car here, and we'll see what Wilton Palermo can do to hold off Michael Clark and Manuel Sandoval for the overall win here. As a little bit more tracking through the standing water, keep those tyres cool. Will a dry line really form here, or has the average pace just been too low?
I think it's starting to get a little bit dry. Like the rooster tails have definitely subsided a little bit here, but I do have to wonder though, is it just a little bit too little too late? We're gonna have to keep an eye on Bryce Crone. He would be the man and be the reference there for the dry tyre.
Yeah, I think the lack of rooster tails was because they were going so slow. Look at how much spray there is now as they come up on the start-finish straight. And looks like black flags being handed out to Alex Zart and Greg Boyce. They've immediately been cleared by race control. Look to be erroneously assigned black flags by the iRacing system as they pile into turn 1. Manuel Sandoval making the move on Emmerich Vestrala as Kenneth Narvaez is around in the midfield. He'll reverse back off track and he'll have to wait for everybody to get by. Michael Clark has also had problems. Michael Pacheco falling down the order. What's happened to Michael Clark? He's back down to 16th now. Oh dear. Looks like there might have been an issue for our GTD Lamborghini. And that's a really weird spot to go off there. That's way off from the exit of turn 1. Looks like he caught the curb at turn 2. And in these conditions, very slippery indeed. The rear end just decided, no thank you, I would rather not. And Michael Clark spinning around onto the grass.
Yeah, definitely very, very easily done. But the good thing is no damage as a result. But meanwhile, though, Wilton Palermo, he's been absolutely on it for the entire day, ladies and gentlemen. But is it going to be enough? He's currently opened up about a 1.1 second gap over a driver who's about 1,400 iRate higher than he is. As that's the 88 gone round. That's Emmerich Vestrala. Oh, dear. Great boys right to the side.
Goodness me.
Oh, what a dodge.
Whew.
That was incredible.
Be still, my beating heart. This is turning into a bit of a chaotic race. Bryce Crone somehow still able to manage a top 13 position as the recovering Michael Clark just drives past him on those wet tires. Don't forget, Crone is still on the dries. He's one of the only cars in the top half of the field to do so. Brissetti, Williams, and Joshua and Matt Jones, are the only other drivers who are on the slicks as Andrew Garov almost runs into the back of him.
Yeah, he definitely went a little bit deep there, but thankfully the runoff was very much in his favor indeed. You can see Sean Phillips, despite the black flag, applying all sorts of pressure, and is currently up 9 positions, 8 positions up now as Greg Boyce manages to make his way back ahead here, as Michael Clark currently absolutely duking it out side by side through the chicane with Pete Judgy.
Whew, all right. Let's see who wins that race of late breakers coming into this chicane up here. Jeji's having a look. Is he going to make the move? No, Michael Clark is respondent to that. Going a little bit deep, but you want to run a little bit wide through these corners. That's usually the best way to do it. He is glancing off those curbs, though. So Michael Clark, I reckon, is taking a few more risks here. Greg Boyce, meanwhile, stuck behind Bryce Crone here with Andrew Garov, and Sean Phillips is catching up to them as well. absolute cork in the bottle is the real street Mercedes right now, at least through the corners. Down the straights, he is jetting away from them with less rolling resistance from the slicks, but when they get to the corners, you see it is definitely the wrong tyre to be on.
Indeed, definitely some very interesting mixes there. Greg Boyce going side by side for a 3-second there. Bryce Chrono under attack. Andrew Garrett giving him a run for his money. Now keep in mind, I think tyres may be in play here. We know Bryce Chrono's got pace indeed, but I-rating wise, Bryce Chrono over double the I-rating, and that's not stopping these guys from absolutely slingshotting past that Mercedes.
Dry line starting to form here down the start-finish straight, and Krone's going to try to stick to that as best he can. There's the move from Sean Phillips. It doesn't quite work on the BMW, but there's a slide ahead, and oh, easy does it there. Oh, Andrew Garov and Jay Williams. Sorry, my apologies. Just completely lost my place in the field there. We're going to move back up to 8th place here. Battle for the last few spots in the top 10. Kevin Rosario started the race on slicks, but changed to wets under the first safety car. And it looks like that's been a very profitable decision for him as Michael Clark and Michael Pacheco go together. Both Michaels, both mid-engine cars. Let's see what they can do as Pete Geggi has still not left them alone. Pacheco getting left behind there by the BMW.
I'm starting to wonder, considering how far back Michael Clark fell, he's absolutely like rabid at this point. He is keen, he's motivated, he has got some serious pace in that Lamborghini right now. Uh-oh.
Yeah, he certainly has. He's going to get a freebie from this one. That's Michael Belair that's gone off. And for the moment, he's going to have to wait a couple of moments more. See him looking over to his left side. He's just waiting for a gap to form and move his way back forward. Back down to 16th for Michael Belair. But tell you what, Michael Clark back up to 9th place, considering, you know, he had good enough pace to qualify on the front row. He's been very strong here at Indianapolis, but he's gone deep at turn 1. Pete Geggi can't take advantage, though.
Yeah, definitely. He was looking to put a nose in there. Let's have a little bit of a look further back. As Andrew Garov is definitely applying all of the pressure. Michael Belair, he's a little bit further back behind him, I believe. Yep, he's further back there. So that would be, that's Joshua Travis, who's currently must be a lap down there getting involved in this pack.
Yeah, Joshua Travis is in fact, the last car running on track and the only car a lap down. He spent a long time in the pits under the last safety car and I think has had a bit of trouble getting back up to speed. Andrew Garov, meanwhile, keeping his eyes very much peeled here on this battle between Sean Phillips and Bryce Crone up ahead. And Crone's lap times looks like are still not quite up to scratch. Crone set his personal best of the race, and it was only a 1:36. Up the front, Wilton Palermo and Manuel Sandoval are setting 1:31. So that shows you how slow those wet tires are.
Well, look at Joshua Travis go. He absolutely just slingshotted past the both of these guys there. Indeed, the BMW's got some pace here today as Pete Geggi has managed to find his way past Michael Pacheco.
Yeah, he has. It's a good run into 10th now for Pete Geggi. Pacheco's still up 7 spots, but it looks like Boyce has managed to find his way past him as well. The Gulf Coast Sims McLaren getting passed by the Porsche at the penultimate corners, and he tried to fight it, did Michael, but ran a bit deep and lost the rear end.
Yeah, definitely very easily done. I certainly do indeed sympathise. Let's take a look a bit further up at the field, though. Alex Zart now finding himself under pressure from Jack Minter.
Yeah, Jack Minter in the GTD class is certainly going to keep his eyes peeled on Wilton Palermo up ahead. There's plenty of close battling going on in those GTD standings, with Ben Milik not here and only in the lead by 13 points over Jack Minter. Essentially, Minter needs to finish here at least, I think, in order to take the title. Whether or not drop rounds are going to affect that remains to be seen as well. Wilton Palermo out in front now by... along with Manuel Sandoval, they are both out there by nearly 8 seconds over that battle we were looking at between Zart, Minter, and Bud. It's going to be maximum points for Wilton Palermo, and there's potential for him to take the GTD title as well.
Yeah, I think he's going to be pretty much dependent as well on where Jack Minter can finish here. As right now, Alex Zart there really having to work hard, and Minter's not having any, but he is keen to find his way up onto the third step of the podium.
Certainly is. Oh, that's a little bit wide there out of turn 2 for Alex Zart, but he gets back online nicely as the track continues to dry out ever so slightly. The pace is looking like mid 132s up at the front, and considering the pace from Krone, about 1 minute 35s or so. I reckon once we start seeing about 1 minute 34s being set, that's going to be about the crossover point. But will we reach that with only 12 and a half minutes to go?
Yeah, it's definitely been an interesting race for sure. Certainly we've got Jeff Winkers there. Oh my gosh, this freaking race. I'm inclined to agree. It's definitely been a colourful experience for sure.
Certainly has been. Alex Zart then keeping his head on a swivel and driving in his rearview mirrors as the Porsches of Minter and Bud keep him very close company in the battle for third overall. Under 12 minutes remaining. My timing is telling me 8 laps to go for Wilton Palermo. And with that double safety car, have they been able to save enough fuel under those 2 safety cars that they might not have to come into the pits at all in this race? I guess we'll have to wait to find that out too. Kerry Corcoran up 11 positions now to 6th spot. A very impressive run. But let's see what times the drivers behind can set. Pretty equal competition between the 4 of them, Rosario, Clark, and Fox, chasing Kerry.
Indeed, certainly the patriotic man himself has got the pressure there. One of the real street drivers actually out of uniforms there, Kevin Rosario there, deciding to rock the student driver livery. I have a feeling he may have been subject to a few penalties at some times in his Podium 1 racing career, indeed. But Michael Clark, he's managed to find his way back up, indeed, to 8th place. This man is incredibly motivated, and I think he's going to get a bit of buy one, get one free here as he gets to run on Kerry Corcoran.
Yeah, Corcoran over the painted curb, and painted surfaces are always more slippery in the wet. Here comes the BMW of Pierce Fox, in the middle. 3 wide indeed, as Corcoran's going to defend the position, and Michael Clark has to wait another couple of corners to make his move.
I gotta say, I thought that was going to end much, much worse, but fair play to all 3 of these drivers to be able to keep that thing on the track. Indeed, cleaned that. There's a little bit of a lunge there from Pierce Clark. Michael Clark, he did on Pierce Fox. It really is going to be a sandwich here, and I have a feeling Pierce Fox is going to be the meat in the middle.
Yes, he's going to be the bratwurst with the pumpernickel on the top bun and a pizza base on the bottom bun, apparently. We've got 2 Germans and an Italian in terms of car, make, and country. Kerry Corcoran's going to stay ahead, and the machine from Stuttgart is going to hold off the Bavarian front-engined car. Meanwhile, the Italian Lamborghini, by way of Germany, it does have a lot of Audi parts, is going to get in the slipstream. And with 10 minutes to go, looks like Clark is more than happy for Fox and Corcoran to sort this out amongst themselves. Corcoran ahead again, but he's gone deep, and Fox is going to try around the outside of turn 2. Forget that. Clark's going to do it, as Corcoran was really slow through the second corner.
I got to admit there, Michael Clark absolutely stamped on it. Kerry Corcoran gets to make a move up on the inside. These guys are absolutely digging. We need more rain races, Reese. This is fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. I love rain. I love watching rain racing. Just had it on Sunday in the V8 Scops Championship down here in Australia, and it was one of the all-time classics of that championship. This is turning into an all-time classic for this championship. Podium 1 fixture series has always been exciting, but the rain just adds, or the wetness of the track just adds that little bit extra, as Michael Belair has to give way to Andrew Garov with the run round the outside through the chicane.
Well, here's something to keep in mind as well. You see that Corvette coming down the middle. That's Chris Bassetti, and that's contact there with Michael Belair. Definitely a little bit of elbow rubbing indeed going on. But Bassetti, he's on the dry tire, and he's actually managed to make his way through these drivers. Indeed, running a little bit of a quicker lap time right now by about 2/3 of a second.
Yeah, I would say that we've reached the crossover point between wet and dry tyres now, because particularly looking at Bryce Crone, the times that he's been setting, 133.6 on the previous lap, and Wilton Palermo and Manuel Sandoval setting low to mid 133s up at the front of the field. So Yeah, looks like the wet and dry tires are more or less equal on pace now, and the track is only going to keep getting drier, so yeah, I reckon maybe a bit late now to really make use of new dry tires, as Krone is going to make the move on Greg Boyce and back up into 11th place. The pace is now back with those dry tires.
Well, certainly one thing I will keep in mind as well, don't get me wrong, there is a dry line forming, but that's all very well and good. But if you need to make a pass, you're generally probably not going to be on the dry line, so this could be quite difficult here for Bryce Krone. I don't think it's game over yet. He's going to have pace, but he's not really going to be able to find his way forward with it if he meets traffic. Meanwhile, though, these two Puerto Rican drivers, Chris Bracetti and indeed Michael Pacheco, are absolutely duking it out. It's dry tires versus wet tires. Indeed, Bracetti absolutely monstering by.
Yeah, brilliant run from Bracetti. You are right, though. Having to go off the dry line in order to make a move, usually, that's going to be hazardous, especially with so much standing water still around the bounds of the racetrack. And I think also the problem, particularly for Krone, is that he's just lost too much time already, having to be on those dry tires from the very start of the race and all the way down in 11th place, 30 seconds or more behind our leader. Depending on making their way into the pits, that might change, but I think the advantage has just been lost now.
Indeed, we've got an absolutely phenomenal pack of cars back here. Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Bracetti leading this pack. Sean Phillips there, the two Corvettes taking the charge. Michael Pacheco there, he's there in the third place of this pack, and indeed, he's doing quite well. He's up 4 positions overall. Sean Phillips up 10 again. He's currently the hard charger in the field yet again, as I hear a little bit of a door up there. I think that might have been Michael Belair. That's indeed Greg Boyce, I believe. Oh, that's Belair.
Oh, dear. Yeah, Belair with problems. And having to tow back to pit lane. No, not happy at all. I did see some contact being made there, potentially. No, it looks like the contact for Belair wasn't necessarily with any other car. He just hit the outside wall coming back onto the oval. Bit of understeer in the wrong spot. He ended up catching the standing water and the grass on the way out of the last turn.
Yeah, definitely frustrating indeed, as right now Sean Phillips is going out of here with Jay Williams. Both of these drivers, different tyre strategies, and right now the dry tyre really coming into the form. That's another one making its way past, but is it all a little bit too little too late there, as Belair does have to settle with that meatball flag down pit road. Meanwhile, though, at the front of the pack, Wilton Palermo, he's got a good solid lead here with Manuel Sandoval, about 10 seconds clear of Jack Minter, who's made his way up into third. But the question for him is Minter going to be far enough back for Wilton to potentially take this GTD win?
Yeah, I think so. Potentially. There's a lot to work out. There always is at the end of a championship season. If we have a chance to talk to CJ, maybe he can give us some provisional standings to keep an eye out for. But these two Porsches have been holding on to a great gap over the course of the last few laps. It's about 11 seconds back to Jack Minter as things stand. Kerry Corcoran, the next car to come into the pit lane. Is he going to be switching to the dries? He is.
Yeah, I definitely don't think I would have switched tyres at this point. With 5 minutes left to go, it's fair to say the bang for the buck, it's not going to be worthwhile. Meanwhile, though, Kevin Rosario, that's a slide there. Bit of a tank stopper. Well caught there. And Pierce Fox able to sneak by.
Yes, indeed. Good job from Pierce Fox there. Don't forget, though, that some drivers may have to take fuel. Obviously, that was a big slide there from Kevin. There will be some drivers who'll have to take fuel here at the very end, not saving enough fuel under safety car. And I think if you think the track's good enough for dry tires, you might as well put them on. I mean, yes, you could save some time by not changing tires, but do you want to continue descending down the order on worn out wets, or do you want fresh dries to try and help yourself out? Have a look at the wet tires for Wilton Palermo. I think they're starting to get past their best there. 133.003 the last lap time for him. Manuel Sandoval, a 132.9. It's very close competition between the Porsches at the front.
Indeed, I think Manuel has just been quite content to sit behind Wilton at this point. Indeed, Palermo's absolutely dominated this race, and I'm damn proud of him, but is it going to come down to a drag race in the final lap? And indeed, if so, What can he do to try and hold off Manuel Sandoval, who's currently there in second? And not only that, the repercussions in the championship will put him one place closer to Jack Minter as well.
Yeah, indeed. Certainly going to be a tightening up of the GTD Championship standings, if not an outright win for either Minter or Palermo. But Bryce Crone, for now, has seen those dry tires come back to him here in these late stages of the race. Has it come too late, though, is the question. 10th for the moment, and making his way past Pete Geggi, or at least trying to. Parked on the dry line is Pete, and Bryce is not going to have any chance to get past on the way through that complex, but maybe on the exit he can. Has to be super careful of the standing water, though. Squeezed a little bit, but he keeps it on the dry line and is able to make the move up into 9th. Will he have what it takes here, though, to get a leg up on Alex Zart, who currently sits in P4. Only a couple of laps to go, and I think Zart might just have the GTD Pro Championship wrapped up.
Indeed, fair play to him right now. Kevin Rosario's got some pressure behind him in the form of Michael Clark. Now, Rosario up 6, Michael Clark down 6. Indeed, both of these drivers, both on the wet tyre. And you can see Bryce Crone lurking in the background. Last lap, indeed, he was able to do a 1:32.46. He is quicker than Michael Clark on this occasion, but certainly, don't get me wrong, looking at the best laps, he's got him absolutely slam dunked by about 1.5 to 2 seconds.
Yeah, good laps happening at the moment for Chris Brassetti. 1:30.5. That's freakish pace from Brassetti on those dry tires. I'm honestly quite surprised that there's that much of an advantage here. That is just about 2 seconds faster than what our leaders are running at the moment. That's Michael Clark up the inside of Kevin Rosario. Very deep indeed to get back into 7th place. And the fantastic recovery for Michael Clark continues.
Indeed, he's been pretty potent. Certainly his racecraft would be where I'd say his strengths are the most potent indeed. And certainly, but saying that, he had qualifying pace today as well. Just got a little bit unfortunate there, having a little bit of a spin outside of turn 2. But right now, I've got to say, the dry tire, definitely the one of choice. With just a minute left to go, I think the gamble hasn't really paid off for the majority of these drivers.
Yeah, well, 40 seconds or so remaining on the timer. So I would imagine, with our leaders making their way into turn 4 at the moment, this could be the final lap of the race. Keeping an eye on Maxwell Budd as he tries to keep up with Alex Zart, who runs slightly wide there in turn 2. You'll see the wet tyre runners running wider and wider through a lot of these corners just to stay on the wet, cool part of the racetrack. As Bryce Crone has to jump into pit lane, it looks like he won't have enough fuel to make it to the end. This is going to be a small splash for the man who was chasing Alex Zart for the championship win in GTD, GTD Pro, but I think that might be over now, with Zart in 4th and Crone unlikely to get back into the top 10.
Well, would you say that Matt Jones just gone and put it into the 129s, ladies and gentlemen, 129.44, and indeed Jay Williams following suit for 129.82. But right now, Alex Zart, this could be the result he's needed. Don't get me wrong, Jack Minter's going to get the final spot on the podium for the outright. But indeed, he's going to take a second in GTD Pro.
Yep, meanwhile, up the front, Wilton Palermo, with the timer hitting 0, is going to take the overall win here in the GTD class. A fantastic drive from Wilton, and so he should be very happy with that. Manuel Sandoval's going to come home in 2nd spot overall and win GTD Pro in the race. Jack Minter, meanwhile, making his way to 3rd. Fantastic drive from him. But across the line for Alex Zart, he will be your GTD Pro champion for this season. Absolutely fantastic drive from Zart over the course of the entire season. Maxwell Budd rounds out your top 5. Still fighting going on just outside the top 10 here. Jay Williams on dries. Chris Brassetti on dries. But it looks to me like Brassetti's going to win the fight for P10.
Indeed, absolutely fantastic stuff indeed. Looks like Andrew Garov's got one going as well. He's chasing his buddy Michael Pacheco as they're going it down for P14.
Indeed. No pit stops for Chris Brassetti from what I can see, which is quite impressive. Garov's going to get the run on Pacheco coming out of the final corner here, but it looks like the line's going to come just in time there for Michael Pacheco. And the Gulf Coast Sims drivers will end up finishing 14th and 15th in the end. A little bit of, no, I insist, sir, you go first between the teammates.
Indeed, definitely a absolutely astonishing race. I gotta say, I absolutely loved having the rain here. I do wish we'd had more rains with that. Certainly, can you imagine Long Beach with the rain? I think CJ would want to kill us.
Yeah,
understandable.
I would not want to be witness to the potential carnage from that. Everyone's across the line, though, and it should be time to go through our final results of the season. Wilton Palermo, from start to finish, leading the race from pole. A fantastic drive to take the overall win ahead of Manuel Sandoval and Jack Minter, with Alex Zart being crowned your GTD Pro champion. Whether or not we see Minter or Palermo be the GTD champion remains to be seen, with Maxwell Budd rounding out your top 5. Pierce Fox, Michael Clark, Kevin Rosario, Pete Geggi, and Chris Brassetti are your final top 10 of the season.
Take a look here at P11. Jay Williams, he took that position with Matt Jones in 12th. Sean Phillips in 13th, despite a black flag. Definitely a good hard charge from him. Actually made it up 11 spots at the hard charger in the field. Well done, sir. Michael Pacheco takes 14th with Andrew Garrell, teammate there, alongside him 15th. With Bryce Crone settling for 16th. Unfortunate, definitely. Pit strategy let him down today. It's almost like Ferrari had done it, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly bit of a joke, anybody who's watched F1. Quinn Manders takes 17th with Greg Boyce in 18th. Kerry Corcoran in 19th, and then Joshua Travis rounding out your top 20.
Finishing 21st, 4 laps down, Michael Belair, unfortunately hitting the wall on the exit of the final corner. We saw retirements from Kenneth Narvaez and Amrit Vestrala, and Hans Brady was out on the first lap. The Mustang that we saw spinning and sliding all the way down the start-finish straight at the very beginning, but the checkered flag was seen first by Wilton Palermo, who joins us now. Congratulations, Wilton. Looks like the wet conditions here at Indianapolis were right on the money for you.
Oh, dude, when I went to test drive on my own last Thursday, we made a private lobby. I saw it was raining. I'm like, oh. I actually really like rain racing, so I just risked it for the biscuit, baby.
Well, risk it you did, and the biscuit you've got.
Yeah, I mean, especially I was so tight in points. I was just practicing like crazy this weekend, and yeah, I'm glad it worked out because I've raced Daytona 24 hours in rain, Bathurst last year in rain. We got podiums, except Bathurst. We got a 4th place, but we recovered it. And I was driving the car during rain, so the experience worked out. Ended up helping a lot. So.
And with that particular result, Ben Millick not being here today and Jack Minter finishing on the podium, that's certainly going to tighten things up in the battle for the GTD championship.
Yeah, when I noticed that Ben said he wasn't racing, I was like practicing like crazy for these last 2 races. Unfortunately, last in Miami race, I had that disconnect, and this one I was like, the rain really takes a hit on my computer, even though it's pretty high end for what it is, but I lost so much FPS, I wasn't going to risk anything. Like, even my Discord was crashing. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to lock it in the race. No camera, no nothing. I just want to bring it home. And I'm just glad it worked out.
Yeah, excellent stuff. We'll see what your final championship position ends up being with us tuned to the series Discord for the next couple of days. Wilton, congratulations on the win in the final round. Anyone you want to thank before we let you go?
My boys in the GCS group. Sorry that I ran their livery this one. I'm sorry I abandoned Manuel. He's my other teammate. Usually I just want to run a special livery for this one since it was the last one. So, I mean, shout out to Manuel, shout out to Michael Pacheco, Andrew Garro, Jay Williams, and Maxwell Budd. They're all my buddies, and I'm glad we had a lot of fun racing this season. So we can't wait to come back next one.
Absolutely, it was our pleasure to see the battles too, Wilton. Thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Meanwhile, Zippy, I understand you've had a chance to catch up with our GTD Pro champion who joins us now, Alex Zart from P4.
Well, that was definitely a tense race for you there, sir. Indeed, the competition was fierce. Tell us a little bit about what it was like trying to tame that raging bull of a Lamborghini.
Yeah, the rain is tricky for sure, and to throw it in kind of the final, I really like that, throwing it in the final race. It was a real challenge preparing for the race, and then of course we got the drying conditions as well with the greasy track, so it was a tough race, and hats off to the guys up front. Like, they were quick, they clearly practiced well in the rain, the Porsche was clearly clicked today as well, but really interesting race, and mostly just making sure I keep it pointed in the right direction, start to finish, and I knew if I did that the championship would come home with me, so yeah, very exciting. Most exciting fourth place, I think second place in class, but great to kind of be up there and get a solid finish and take home the win for the season.
Well, indeed, an absolutely fantastic job indeed. Despite the fact that your biggest competition wasn't here this week, it's a thing that's been settled over the whole season. Certainly at Road Atlanta, for lack of better words, you absolutely ate it. Like, if it was a box of cookies, the Cookie Monster would have looked like a rookie at that point. It definitely did not go to plan, but overall, you've had it. Joshua Wilford, last season's champion, couldn't quite bring it to you this season round, but certainly we're hoping to see Podium 1 come back, and are indeed going to see Alex Zart making a return should that occur.
Yeah, definitely. If we run back again, I'm definitely excited to jump back into the league. Yeah, I rode Atlanta with the cookies, and then I think Adelaide, I did it again the next week back. So definitely a rough stretch in the middle of the season there, but that's why you do the whole season. You know, I think not having any drop races or kind of missing any races really helped a lot, but I know that's a real challenge for a lot of folks as well. So it sucked that Wilford couldn't be here, and Crone was right up there with me as well. So it's a tight battle throughout the season. I was definitely concerned, but overall, yeah, looking forward to next season when that gets going, and definitely be back again.
Well, certainly would be great to see. But Alex, a quick random question for you. Certainly some people we see for GT3s, we tend to find that is their car choice and what they usually run. I'm just wondering for yourself, is there any other vehicles that you really like to run in the sim? What would be your choice for the car next season?
Yeah, I kind of came up the ranks through like formula racing, to be completely honest. Then got over to like the GTP prototypes and that sort of stuff. But the GT3 has been home. There's a lot of great leagues that run GT3. It's a really fun category. The car diversity is awesome as well. So definitely be back. I assume we'll do kind of a GT run again. And then it's just deciding the car. And I think the Merc and Porsche are really both very strong right now. But I'd love the Lambo. It sounds great. It feels great in the hands as well. So we'll see what I end up going with. I think the Aston might be another one that I'll check out kind of between seasons here and see what we get up with for next season.
Well, certainly the Britishness in me would love to see you run the Aston. The broadcaster in me would think you'd need a little bit of a horseshoe or some kind of four-leaf clover or something along those lines. But while we got you here in the booth, let's have an interview here with your biggest competition that was certainly giving you a run for your money. It's Bryce Crone. Bryce, I understand you've been able to catch up with Reese here. How did your race strategy go there, Bryce? I'm definitely curious to see exactly what happened there.
Yeah, I decided to start on the dries, obviously. I will say, if the second safety car didn't pull out, it 100% would have worked. Unfortunately, the drag couldn't try out quick enough. Everyone was driving slow for about 10 laps or so. So, I went for the gamble. I knew Zart was P4, I think he qualified. And if I was pole position, maybe I would have went on the wets. But I knew I had to go for a gamble on that one.
It was always going to be a tough one, Bryce, but regardless, it shouldn't take away from the rest of the season that you've had. Certainly one of your strongest seasons in recent memory, and really repping the real street zebra liveries nicely at the front of the field. Yeah,
absolutely. I had a great time this season. I definitely performed better. Good racing with Zart all season, as well as Wilford. Unfortunately, he wasn't here the past few races, but yeah, it was a lot of fun, and glad I get to watch my races back on broadcast. Thanks to you guys for commentating and doing all the hard work behind the scenes. And glad to see what's next.
Yes, what's next may or may not be PRP 250 on Wednesday. We'll see what you guys can do for that event. Alex is going to be running in the Radical race, and I'm sure you'll be trying to settle some score there, Bryce.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be there.
Fantastic stuff from the both of you. Thanks very much for joining us, and thanks for all the entertainment that you've given us over the course of the season. Such a fantastic championship battle.
Absolutely. Likewise, guys.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it, guys.
And Zippy, finally, I understand Maxwell Budd has joined us, and you've had a chance to catch up with him.
Oh, indeed, good to get you back here in the booth, Max. And certainly interesting conditions here today. Not quite able to get to the top step of the podium. Definitely a good, solid run yourself. Able to get P5 overall.
Yeah, it
it was a tricky race. This race, especially in these GT3s. At the beginning it was super wet, and the wet tire was dominant, and then right there towards the end, iRacing was like, "Oh yeah, it's a dry session now," and my tires were overheating ridiculously, so it was tough for sure.
Well, definitely, the rain does indeed add a new set of conditions. Not only that, we've loved having the features here of iRace Control and indeed CJ Conklin and Doug Sorrentino stepping up mid-season to try and help out with that race control work as well. Fair play to them. But Max, before we let you go, is there anybody you'd like to shout out for, not just for this race, but for this season overall, and any messages you could take away from the championship battle that we've had?
I'd like to shout out Team GCS that I run with. Wilton got the overall P1, so congrats to him. Congrats to Zart for winning the championship, hopefully, and then shout out to my girlfriend who's been watching the whole season. And to take away from the championship, I know where I was messing up, so hopefully next season I come back a little bit stronger.
Well, certainly, we would indeed love to have Podium 1 come back next season as well. But I'm going to give you a solid piece of advice, Max. And certainly, I learned this from Razim Fasuri. We'd interview this guy on a frequent basis. The guy is an alien. And indeed, he'd go and do his shout-outs. And the problem he'd put is he'd go through the order of people he'd like to thank. And the problem is that the dog often outranked the girlfriend. So certainly, top piece of advice, put the girlfriend first, just to try and preserve that. And indeed, if she's watching, I have a feeling you might not have been in the doghouse, but you may be now. So certainly I can tell you a good foot rub and a bottle of wine can go a very long way for redemption indeed. But ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the driver of the number 008 car, and indeed competing in not just the GTD series, but indeed the TCRs and indeed the GT4 series as well, rocking that beautiful GT4, the Mercedes AMG. It's Maxwell Budd.
Thanks, guys, and thanks for a great season.
Thank you, Max.
And thank you. Excellent stuff from Maxwell Budd once again. And Zippy, that's going to conclude runnings here for the final round of the Podium 1 Fixed Series Championships. Indianapolis really turned it on, and I'm looking forward to seeing what can be done further on in the week to see who's who, where we're going to be finishing relative to each other at PRP 250 on Wednesday. I've got to say a huge thanks as well to CJ Conklin and the crew at Podium 1, to Doug Sorrentino, to Drew Martin as well. Everyone who's been involved behind the scenes in putting this series together and bringing us on to broadcast. It's just been a fantastic journey. Darwin Hanson, my apologies.
Certainly, not only that as well, if you haven't seen already, Darwin's son is actually going into the world of real racing as well. He is on Instagram. I'm going to try and find it for you very quickly here. I'm not good at Instagram. Oh, here we go. First guy that pops up. It's almost like someone was listening. Hudson_McCullum _racing. McCullum spelled MCCOLLUM. Check him out. He's just starting out. Give him as much social media love as you can, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly, he's a young lad. He's got Darwin backing him as well. Let's give him some love. I love commentating and broadcasting for the sim racing side, but you know what? I get a little bit teary-eyed when I see some of these guys go and competing in the real world. Certainly, I actually saw a guy from the Almeida Academy the other day, Drew Marston, going and competing back over in the UK in Hyundai Tiburon racing as well. It was great to see him on real life. Declan Marston, sorry. And I sent him a message like, dude, you competed in the Hyundai this week. It's like, yeah. And I'm like, dude, I saw it. It's so cool. We got the likes of him. We got multiple real life drivers who we see as well. Obviously, we've got the guys over at Lima Racing, or indeed Tag One Motorsports, as they're now affectionately known, like Cedric and John over there as well. But honestly, it's been an absolute belter of a season. I got to say, some rounds were more hectic than others. Fair to say, if we did Long Beach in the rain, I have a feeling it would be a little bit of a busy evening for race control, even more than it was so. But there's been some beautiful moves, there's been some beautiful passes, there's been some absolutely great camaraderie as well. But certainly, another thing we'll shout out as well, just for a note going forward as well, if you're ever going to protest somebody, at least be a driver in the league, guys. We did hear about somebody who wasn't even involved trying to kick up a fight. Just, dude, you need to get out more, and that's coming from me. We'll call them out for it. But other than that, it's been an absolutely fantastic season, and indeed, it's great to interact with this community as well. Reese, it's been, as always, it's been a pleasure having you here on board and trying to keep me in check. But if you'd like to do the honors for the final race here of the season, Reese, let's call it a day.
Indeed. To Darwin, to CJ, to everyone behind the scenes, thank you. To everyone who watched today, thank you. It's been an honor to bring this championship to you all. I'm Reese Gardner, Daniel Zippy Salmon alongside me in the comms box here on Pit Road Productions. We will see you next time.